Hello. Hello everyone. Tactical Edge here. It's been a while since my last stream, and yeah, today we do have a bit of tournament replay. Let me just up the volume a bit since it seems to be a little bit quiet in terms of the sound effects and music and all that, but yeah. So it is pretty much an impromptu stream because I got approached by CoolUmbrella suddenly this afternoon. I did miss his message because I was at work, but he was asking whether I can cast his Friday night tournament, which I'm always happy to do so. Unfortunately, though, by the time I read the message, it was like 15 minutes after the start of the tournament. So yeah, I can't actually cast the tournament live, but thankfully he did ask all the players to send in their replays, and I basically got most of the replays saved now, although we do have a couple replays that were missed out as the players did not save their battle replay files, and well, at least we still have 6 out of 8 matches. And what we do have the most important of all, the finals, which is a best of 3. And that is, well, this is also a tournament from the European time zone. So mostly players from Europe, as well as whoever woke up early enough in the US, or whoever stayed up late enough in Australia, I guess. But yeah. So let us just hop into the first battles. Let's just go with... Wait, I need to save CoolUmbrella's replay as well. Give me a second, because I downloaded it but did not put it into the replay file. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright. Alright, this is a battle between CoolUmbrella and Be'lakor, and it's a Skaven versus Tzeentch. And I'm seeing a lot of aggression here from the Tzeentch army. It is definitely a rush build with a bit of firepower from blue horrors and pink horrors. 3 of the units are chaos spawns of Tzeentch, great for plowing through the rather fragile infantry of the Skaven, and also there are some Tzeentch furies for disruption. At the same time, to overload the Skaven frontline, a whole lot of Tzeentch marauders, and leading the army village. We need to go into the map to see what spells are actually brought on the Lord. So let's check Infernal Gateway for some maximum area of effect damage, and also Pink Fire of Tzeentch, really going after those area of effect spams here. While the Skavens here, led by CoolUmbrella, we have a Skaven box, really classic stuff here. Clan Red Spears with shields, Skaven slaves, just a lot of chaff here to slow down enemy advances, and then a bunch of Night Runners for some light skirmishing firepower. A few Warlock Jezzails, one of them the Natty Boobles sharpshooter for some precision fire, some form of artillery to really outrange the Tzeentch army. And then at the back, Red Ogres for their mass to block up potential, for example, Knight's charges, or wait, no, Tzeentch doesn't have Warhounds, or well, they can act as a counter-charge unit against enemy monsters as well. For the melee infantry, only like the actual elite melee infantry, not the Skaven chaff. We have a couple Plague Monks. These are actually pretty good into demons, since they do have immune to psychology with their frenzy ability, but unfortunately their physical resistance will be wasted in this matchup, especially when, well, Tzeentch army, all of them has magic attacks. Now Be'lakor is sending in some of these Chaos Furies here to disrupt the Skaven firepower. The Night Runners are shooting, but unfortunately with the Tzeentch shield blocking those shots, they're not actually doing that much damage on impact. There are the Plague Monks here, stationed and ready to counter-charge to fend off the Chaos Furies, and then another Fury is flooding in. their magic attacks will still trade well against the Plague Monks, but unfortunately with the anti-infantry attacks from the Plague Monks, they will also take substantial losses as they are forced to pull back, doing noticeable but relatively minor damage to the Warlock Giselle, since they do have 70 armor and can mitigate some of that attacks. A Howling Warp Gale, really nice move here, just to pin down the Chaos Furies and shoot them up with a combination of Night Runner fire, and they'll be quickly dropping as they are now entering Crumbling. In the front line, Skaven slaves push out and getting absolutely bulldozed by a whole lot of spawns of Tzeentch. The rest of the Skaven front line are just being breached entirely by a combination of spawns and the Marauders of Tzeentch. The spawns, these guys have taken significant damage from the Warlock Giselles and the Night Runner fire, but they are unbreakable, so they will fight on, while the Nightingale's sharpshooter positioned a little too close to their front line, so as soon as the first line of Skaven chaff broken, these guys are immediately in the vicinity of a Tzeentch army charge, and all of them got hit by some nasty hits from the spawns of Tzeentch, lowering their armor down to 40, giving the Marauders a much better time in hacking them down. A lot of the Red Ogres have been engaging in the front line here, trying to push back the Tzeentch advance. There's nothing in the back line really, and everything has been invested into the melee fights, but unfortunately the Tzeentch army is pushing hard for the Skavens, and the Skavens do not exactly have the units to keep holding on. And with an Infernal Gateway absolutely destroying a lot of these Skaven units, only the Red Ogres are left in the fight here, and some of these Plague Monks. There are some Red Ogres at the back disrupting the Tzeentch missile troops, but their lack of armor means that once the Pink Horror starts cross-firing, their Overwatch fire will be doing significant damage to the Red Ogres with only 30 armor. Some Night Runners have used up all their ammo and will be engaging in melee. They do have decent enough melee stats as far as Skaven skirmishing infantry goes, but unfortunately they still have really poor leadership and all that, being a skirmishing unit and whatnot, so they would not be able to hold on for long. Night Runners at the back are using up their ammo as well. After all, they don't have the most ammo count. Nightingale's sharpshooters, they have regrouped and should be able to fire again, but at this point there's not much to protect them from the charge of the Chaos Spawns. At the back here, this one Red Ogre is slowly working down the Pink Horrors, but then the Blue Horrors and the other Pink Horrors are now cross-firing into the fray, and they shall be routed soon. And yeah, at this point there's not much the Skavens can do. Most of their firepower are gone. The Red Ogres are slowly worked down by the unroutable Tzeentch demons. Village is just tanking through all these Skaven chaff. He does enjoy a lot of stat buffs as the more he casts spells, the more he receives melee buffs, and although not much in terms of buffs, but yeah, anyways. At the back here, Skavens, the last of the infantry, are being cleaned up. The only thing that's holding the entire army together is a Kick Claw. Actually, I missed out him entirely. Bring in some pretty useful spell, Howling Warp Gale for example. Flensing Ruin does some okay damage, not the greatest since he's on foot and doesn't have the Doom Wheel to plow through enemy units, and at this point being hacked down by Village, he shall go down. Hey Kiara, nice to see you here. I don't think we have shown you on the channel here. Oh right, you're a Be'lakor, right? Yeah, cool, makes sense. Yeah, I don't think we have shown you on this channel yet, but congratulations on debuting here. Yeah. So yeah, army performances here. We have Natty Bull, Sharpshooter, and all these Giselles didn't really do that much damage. Their best target are probably the spawns of Tzeentch, but even then, their shooting power, their DPS is just not fast enough to burst down the Tzeentch army. And I don't think there's a lot of good artillery for the Skavens to counteract Tzeentch spawns. Mostly they have to rely on their skirmishers, their pebbles, and whatnot. What else? We have the Red Ogres. They got shot up pretty hard. Just don't have a good trade against the Tzeentch army, especially with so much firepower lying around. Plague Monks, pretty poor damage since their only protection, the physical resistance, weren't able to hold up. The Night Runners did decently though, did some pretty nice damage overall. And the Clan Reds plus Skaven Slaves, not much damage either. We have a Kid Claw, did some pretty decent damage with a combination of Lancing Rune and a Howling Warp Gale, but that's about it. As the Tzeentch army, Kiara here getting over 2,000 gold worth of damage value. That was some devastating Tzeentch spells, to be fair. The Pink Fire and Infernal Gateway all got some pretty good casts, while the Tzeentch Demonic Infantry getting some decent damage. One of them got worked down by the Red Ogres, but the other did not, and still have plenty of steam to go. Furies, the ones that got shut down by Howling Warp Gale did absolutely a poor job, but the others did some okay damage. And yeah, Blue Horrors did okay. Some of them got some pretty cost-effective damage against the Red Ogres, while the Marauders, they punched through the front line, and that's all they needed. Now, next battle, we have some Dark Elf action. This is between Saber's Magnum and Sir Groot. Pink Fires do wreck the Reds hard with their lack of armor and their mass infantry spams. Now, the army from the Dark Elves is pretty meta, I would say, with 4 Cold One Knights. And then a front line of Black Ark Corsairs. They are great to trade against skeleton infantry. Not Furies. Harpies, great at shutting down archers and whatnot, and possibly the Ushaptis over here. Of course, let us finish the Dark Elf army first. Maulus Dark Blade on foot, not on his Cold One. Probably afraid of being shot up by a lot of those eye lasers from, for example, Sepulchral Stalkers. Caster, as usual, Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin to get that fire damage onto the weakness to fire of the Tomb King Lord. Arcane the Black here coming in with Spirit Leech and Fate of Fiona. Pretty standard stuff. His Staff of Nagash for cooldown and increased power recharge, as well as Liber Mortis. And don't forget about the Tomb Blade, which provides skeleton summons. Now, with the Sepulchral Stalkers on the field and also a bunch of Ushaptis, the Dark Elves will be suffering from the first blood. Arcane the Black pushing out, possibly trying to summon some skeletons to block down the advance of Black Ark Corsairs. Chosen of the Gods blasting away at the Black Ark Corsairs, doing some pretty nice damage. Oh wait, no, he's not doing the skeleton summons yet. He's just draining the health of Maulus Dark Blade. While the rest of the Shaptis are also shooting into Maulus Dark Blade. They do have some pretty nice precision fire though. And a nice burning hit down the line on the Skeleton Warriors, absolutely roasting this unit. Can it hit the other unit over here? We shall see. But at the same time, Black Ark Corsairs are pushing in. It seems that this unit of Skeleton Warriors are also being absolutely devastated. I was supposed to say singed, but it just went right through there, delete the half a unit, and even touch up this one unit of Skeleton Warriors a bit. And the Black Ark Corsairs should be able to break through all the Skeleton Warriors in no time. There are no second line infantry other than this one Kepler guard here. So the Black Ark Corsairs needs to be stopped somehow. And the Nehekara Horsemen will be thrown into the fray, as well as a single skeleton summon here, just really stopping the Black Ark Corsairs from advancing. But eventually they should be able to break through all the skeleton infantry. So the Tomb Kings really need to work down the killer units of the Dark Elf army. Maulus Dark Blade is slowly being worked down by a combination of Ushapti Fire and also Spirit Leech. But here comes the Harpies shutting down the Ushaptis with Great Bowls. Another Burning Hand is coming down onto this Nehekara Horseman unit, Tzeentch the Skeleton Warriors. A pretty disgusting trajectory as they are now running straight into a second unit of Skeleton Warriors, and they shall be gone as well. And at this point, the entire Skeleton front line is gone. Now, the damage is in the favor of Tomb King, since Maulus Dark Blade is getting a little bit low, and the balance of power is tipping in the favor of the Bony Boys. But unfortunately though, on the far side there are some Cold One Knights flanking around. Where are the other Cold One Knights? They have engaged in the melee fight here, breaching the trying to breach the trying to breach the defenses of the Necro Horsemen. Eye lasers from the Eyes of Desert here now shooting into Malice Darkblade, but he is on foot, so a lot of other units are blocking up the shots here. For example, the Witch Elves. Wait, there are Witch Elves here. I did not count them in, but anyways, they are still blinding through skeleton infantry. So there's not much difference other than they take a little bit more damage than Black Ark Corsairs. Another burning head down the line, and the skeleton spears are done for. Kepler Guard is fighting, and they should be able to hold back enemy infantry with their pretty elite melee stats, regeneration, and also their anti-infantry weapon strength. But there is just a lot of Black Ark Corsairs and some Koan Knights as well, so they'll be in quite a bit of trouble. Now, Malice Darkblade is getting really low, but a very timely transformation of Darkan, saves him entirely, pushes the balance of power all the way in favor of the Dark Elves. There's still a lot of steam left to give from the Koan Knights, and the balance of power of the Tomb Kings largely lies in the Eyes of Desert, which still have a lot of ammo, but they'll be taken down soon by a swarm of Black Ark Corsairs, Darkan himself, and perhaps some Koan Knights as well. And at the back, the Chosen of the Gods and Ushapti with great bows are all shut down. The Chosen of the Gods are nowhere to be found. They are possibly dead at this point. Arkan the Black, wait, Arkan the Black is still there, but his presence doesn't mean much as he should be low on magic soonish. He's still spamming Spirit Leech, and Spirit Leech isn't exactly an expensive spell, and I assume he still has some magic to give, but the rest of his army is just not holding. The Carrions are actually forgotten in the skies, not doing much over the course of battle. They're now thrown into the fray to support the Kepler Guard, but at this point, Sir Grit will just be throwing the towel here. So army performances, Koan Knights did some pretty decent damage here, but really is, well, Malice Darkblade not doing much in this fight. Mostly getting shot up and absorbing damage. The carry are surprisingly the front line here. Well, everyone carried a bit of their weight, really. Plowing through the front line with a combination of Black Ark Corsairs, using the Burning Head to lower the leadership and HP of the skeleton infantry, and then they just crumbles away by themselves. Not really that much damage need to be dealt, and with the infantry gone, the Nekara horsemen not trading well against Koan Knights, the rest of the Koan Knights can just easily get their hands on to the Chosen of the Gods, the Ushaptis, and also the Eyes of Desert. Eyes of Desert do have anti-large and armor piercing, but their melee stats aren't that great in general, so once they get overwhelmed by Koan Knights, nothing can really save them. Arkan the Black got some really solid damage with Spirit Leeches, but as you can see there, Malice Darkblade simply heals everything back up with a transformation of Darkan. So, yeah. Basically crushing that balance of power of the Tomb Kings with the very healthy HP bar of Darkan and his powerful fighting, killing power. Now, let's see. Another battle, this one from... Okay. Let's see, these are... Okay, these are from... Okay, no. Let's not spoil everything just yet. Ogre Kingdoms and... Ooh. Ogre Kingdoms versus Vampire Count. Saber's Regnum versus Kiara. So, army builds wise, pretty standard stuff for Ogre Kingdoms. Oh wait, this is not that standard. We have Crushers, we have Snowhorn of Morn, a lot of missile resistance there. 2 scrap launchers. I still call them crap launcher because of how inaccurate they are and how shit their missile damage is, but well, I guess everyone had their own opinion on things. On the fiery far side, the Saber-Tusk packs are accompanying the Sky Striders there. Nobbler scrap launchers are moving up possibly to shoot down the pirate deckhand mobs, and they should be careful of the counterfire from the Carronades though, but as long as the Slaughtermaster is there to surviving and healing them, they should be fine. Saber-Tusk packs about to be charged by a lot of Scurvy Dogs being forward deployed. Also, same goes for the Lead Belchers, and then there are more Scurvy Dogs coming in. The the Ogre backline is in a bit of a grave danger. Nobular Trappers, 4 units of them, and 3 units of Nobular Infantry. I do love these guys a lot, so hopefully they should be able to do some decent stuff here with their missile damage against the lightly armored Vampire Coast unit. Slaughtermaster with Great Maul. Only bring Troll Guts and Tooth Cracker. Missile resistance definitely a good thing to stack on top of, for example, the Snowhorn of Morn, 20% missile resistance, plus another 20% from the Glacial Defense, and then another 20% from the Tooth Cracker. I've never seen people use this spell, but yeah, definitely a good choice here, because the Snowhorn of Morn can have a total of 62 damage resistance. Anyways, on the other side, other than the Scurvy Dogs from the Vampire Coast, we have a front line of Death Guards with Halberds mixed in with Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs, and just 4 units of Death Guards, some really elite infantry there. 5 units of Pistol Mobs, and then another couple units of Polearm Pirate Deckhand Mobs protecting the Carronades, who are now being smashed pretty hard by the anti-infantry fire of the Nobular Scrap Launchers. They are not killing the artillery models, but they are doing some noticeable damage to the artillery crew. Now, at the back here, Saber Tusk Packs being routed off by the double charge of the Scurvy Dogs, but over here, despite the Lab Bouchers taking some significant damage, the Snowhorn of Morn is here to repel the Scurvy Dogs. So the Lab Bouchers are mostly intact in terms of unit models, despite losing a lot of HP, but the Slaughtermaster should be able to heal them back up with a Troll Gut, while the Carronades here are chugging rocks into the Scrap... Carronades here are shooting into the Scrap Launchers, but the Scrap Launchers are... Wait, they're not crap! What the fuck? They're not crap! They're actually doing work here, destroying the Carronade unit, while at the back here, Scurvy Dogs trying to run down Nobular Trappers, but I don't think it's a good trade. Nobulars should fight back decently against the Scurvy Dogs with double the unit models. Nobular Trappers as well, draining the HP of the Scurvy Dogs, and also more importantly slowing them down with the Nobular's traps, and now they're taking damage and being hit hard by the Snowhorn of Morn, while they are not able to disengage freely to hit up the Lead Belchers, who are now in range and now blasting away at the poor Death Gods. These guys have absolutely amazing unit penetration and can hit multiple unit models at once, doing maximum damage to the ranks of infantry. Saber Tusk Packs plus the Sky Striders have finally flanked around and now hitting up a lot of these backline here. Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs are not in the position to protect the Carronades, and the Carronades will be gone soon. While the Lead Belcher is now down to 15 models, but able to pull back with the Nobular screening away the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob summon. Death Guards are pushing in, but this might be a bad idea. Trying to bunch them up because, well, Lead Belchers will be able to maximize damage against some of these kind of blobs like these. Scurvy Dogs are still roaming around, while the Slaughtermaster is roaming a little bit far out of position, and the Sky Striders are just devastating the backlines of the Zombie Pirate. The Pistol Mobs are trying to shoot at the Sky Striders but with 120 armor plus a lot of missile resistance at 20%, they just shrug off all those pistol fire. While the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs with polearms escorted off one Saber Tusk Pack, but unfortunately the entire Vampire army is scattered all over the field here. Nobular Trapper is doing some pretty nice... Wait, no, these are not Nobular Trapper damage. These are Scrap Launchers. They are... Okay, I might have a second opinion. Yeah, I might need a second opinion on these guys. They are doing some devastating damage to the Death Gods with polearms. Somehow they're hitting every shot here. Although when I use them, they never hit. So, yeah. Anyways, zombie summons are trying to cut through the Nobular Trappers, but the Nobular Trappers aren't that bad in melee. Having 26 melee defense, they actually have way more melee defense than melee attack of the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mobs, and they actually hold. Well, over here, Sky Striders, they're unstoppable right now. The only thing that can do damage to them in this build are the Carronades and Death Gods, but none of them are able to catch them. Well, first of all, the Carronade doesn't exist, and the Polearm Death God simply can't catch up with the Sky Striders. While the Snowhorn of Morn can freely charge around using the massive impact damage to run down any unit as soon as it charges in. Over here, the Death Guards are still trying to chase, but the Lead Belchers and the Nobbler Scrap Launchers can, at this point, slowly chip away their health with their armor-piercing firepower. The armor-piercing bit is not so much on the Nobbler Scrap Launcher, but, well, the missile damage of 450 per volley? Oh, I mean, over 10 seconds is more than enough to work them down, and they still have quite a bit of ammo left to go. And don't forget about the charge impact of the Snowhorn of Morn. It's just running around rampant in the ranks of all these zombie pirate troops. So all the Death Guards are being slowly worked down, and they are pretty much done for. Hey, human boy. Nice to see you here. Are you playing in the North American time zone Friday fight nights? Yeah, just a curious question. But yeah, that should be the end of the Ogre versus Vampire Coast fight, and Saber's Ragnum will be winning the second battle and advancing to the finals. Kiara, I was expecting... Oh, hey, Phoenix King. Kiara, he got me really well there. Didn't expect a kite and expecting an Ogre rush to begin with. Ah, fair, human boy. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the plug. That is very much appreciated. And let's see. Kiara, I was expecting an Ogre rush. How wrong? That is... Yeah, Ogre Rush I feel like wouldn't work as great against the Vampire Coast because they have unroutable infantry and a lot of missiles. But I'm not sure whether after the debuff to the turn speed of Scrap Launcher, I'm not sure whether the Ogre Kingdoms can pull off something like that again against the Vampire Coast, but perhaps they still can, just need a little bit of twitching. Or maybe they can just plow in with their Snowhorn of Morn, because theoretically this is still this can switch into a rush build by just charging in with all the Nobblers and Sky Striders and the Snowhorn of Morn. So it can actually be kind of versatile with the availability of Scrap Launchers here providing cover fire. And then everything just rushes in, especially with Sky Striders being such a strong unit. Anyways, damage value, Snowhorn of Morn didn't do much damage. Most of the heavy lifting were done by the Lead Belchers and the Scrap Launchers. Scrap Launchers did some okay damage value. This one did fine, recovering their cost. And yeah, Lead Belchers doing some massive damage. I do love Lead Belchers. I would probably put them in one of the best units among the entire Ogre roster because of how good they are against everything with their shots. Although, unfortunately, they are pretty glass cannon, so once they get caught by anything, they just kind of dies. The rest of the army, Saber Tusk packs, one of them shut down the Carronades, and that's all they need to do, while the Nobblers and Nobbler Trappers, the Nobbler Trappers still got some solid damage, recovering most of their costs in this battle. Actually, all of their total costs here. 700 gold worth of damage value on this one. Pretty solid stuff. And then two more Nobblers, well, Nobblers being Nobblers, one of them got some damage, but other than that, not so much. Sky Riders mostly just running down the pistol mob, so not much damage either. As for the Vampire Coals here, Noctilus, yeah, can't really do much here. Can't even catch enemy mobility and all that. And everything else just got shot up pretty well. Carronades missing a lot of shots. For some reason, the cannon trajectory or the aiming of cannons or carronades or any cannon-like artillery seems to have a lot of issues here, and they are missing a lot. So, yeah, hell cannons as well. I'm not sure what's happening with the aiming AI, but, well, unfortunate it is. I just don't bring cannons in general, other than using it as a distraction piece for my Sunmaker. Now, Death Guards being kited to death, no damage on them whatsoever. Scurvy Dogs did some damage, but not great. While the pistol mobs, yeah, unfortunately not a lot of damage as well. These two probably shot the Sky Riders, but only doing very minor stuff here. And yeah, very unfortunate. This is not a build against a kiting faction, I suppose. Kira, I still learn VP. Flat carronades are good counter versus artillery-led belchers. Theoretically, they are, but I don't know why. But it seems that cannon artillery just don't hit for some reason. They're supposed to hit, but they don't. Or maybe I've missed it and Saber's Magnum actually dodged those shots. I'm not 100% sure. Now, Dwarfs do everything Dwarfs do. Well, given the Dwarf hatred on the name, we can pretty much conclude this is from Phoenix King, the High Elf Enjoyer, and the Dawi Hater. So, army build, a full-on kite build, 3 Dragon Princes, 3 Reavers with bows and arrows, 2 more Reavers with their spears, 2 Shadow Warriors, a single Star Dragon, and also a Mage of some sort. Wait, where are you at, Mage? Oh, right here. On horse. Mage of Life with Earth, Blood, and Regrowth. Mostly there to heal up the Star Dragon, I assume. While the Chaos Army, Warriors of Chaos from... I forgot to check the name of their opponent. Give me a second. Let me just check. Ah, okay. Challenge. It's Phoenix King versus Storm Runner. There is Storm Runner bringing 4 units of Hellstriders of Slaanesh all with Hell Scourges, since the regular ones got nerfed. Got nerfed hard with their bonus versus large reduced from 10 to 5. For the front line, a mixture of Chaos Warriors and Marauders, just going for a really, really wide line to overwhelm the supposed spear line of the High Elves. And then there are some Chaos Knights on the flanks, and just for some heavy cavalry here to overwhelm, again, the High Elf spears and archers. But unfortunately, there's not much infantry to overwhelm here, as Phoenix King is going full on kite. Leading the army of the Chaos is the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal with Searing Doom and Plague of Rust. Mostly there for the Plague of Rust, I assume, to debuff enemy armor and allow the Hell Scourge, Hell Striders, and perhaps the Chaos Knights to maximize the damage. Dragon Princes charging into the Chaos Knights with lances here. Both of them are taking massive damage, but it seems that, yeah, mostly even actually. The trade is mostly even, while over here Hellstrider is taking some pretty nasty damage from the counter charge of a Dragon Prince, and one of them has been broken, the other also taking significant damage. 2 more Hellstriders being held back. Yeah, just trying to preserve their forces, not to be hit hard by the initial engagement, while the line of Chaos Warriors and Marauders are pushing forward, trying to push back the High Elf Kite. One of the Dragon Princes got hit by an overcast Plague of Rust, but unfortunately they pulled out right on time. Star Dragon engaging the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Metal, doing some pretty nice damage, and will be pulling out using the superior mass to the Chaos Infantry. There's some really nice cycle charging coming in from the Dragon Princes and the Illyrian Reavers, and also breaking through the Chaos Knights with lances. So unfortunately, the Chaos push is suffering heavily at the hands of just a lot of High Elf mobility here. Especially with the Dragon Princes having martial prowess, buffing up their melee stats. They have 45 attack and defense, way better than the Chaos Knights with lances, 43 and 37. While at the same time Shadow Warriors are shooting in, debuffing the weapon strength of a lot of the Chaos units right here. Illyrian Reavers and Dragon Princes. Another overcast Plague of Rust here, debuffing the Dragon Princes, but there's nothing to follow up, so unfortunately another cast being negated. And at this point, the Chaos Army, the Hell Striders, and Chaos Knights with lances have all suffered heavily at the hands of... Oh, shit. Oh, my confusion here. Actually, this is against VM Jiffy. My bad. Thanks for the catch. Yeah, thanks for the catch, Phoenix King. Okay, back to the fight for now, since the fight is still going on. The Chaos infantry is in a bit of disarray right now, and Phoenix King is charging straight in with a lot of Elarian Reavers, trying to hit them up with a bit of rear charge damage. But at this point, Hellstriders are also rushing in for a rear charge. Chaos Knights with lances as well, doing some noticeable damage to the Elarian Reavers, but the Star Dragon is here to intercept and will be plowing straight through the ranks of all these Chaos Mobility. More Psycho Charges are coming in from the Elarian Reavers and the Dragon Princes, and they are just flattening all the Marauders on impact, while the Shadow Warriors are still shooting and kiting. There's still a lot of Chaos Infantry left on the field, but the mobility is dwindling. And once the mobility is gone, the Chaos Infantry will just be sitting ducks against first the skirmishing firepower from the Elarian Reavers, Archers, and secondly breath attacks from the Star Dragon, and thirdly the Psycho Charges from all the surviving mobility. Although most of the balance of power from the High Elves are held up by the Archmage of Life and the Star Dragon, really. So the Chaos Warriors and all might still have a chance. More Dragon Princes charging in, flattening the poor Marauders, but the countercharge from Chaos Knights with lances and Chaos Warriors will come in to hack them down. But such a blob means that a perfect opportunity for the Star Dragon Breath will be devastating the ranks of the Chaos Infantry and Cavalry. And Earthblood is also dropped in here to sustain the hit points of the 2 Dragon Princes. The Chaos Lord is dropping in, trying to hit up the Dragon Princes with with his armor piercing, but then the Star Dragon is closely following right behind. And the Chaos Infantry, the rest of them are they're not in a position to support the Chaos Sorcerer Lord against the mighty Star Dragon. There are some Chaos Knights with lances running in, but unfortunately they are in a rout and will not be of any help. And at this point, with all the Chaos Infantry scattered around and being heavily damaged, it is safe to say that a lot of these units will be Psycho Charged to death by a combination of High Elf Cavalry. A breath attack was attempted by the Chaos Sorcerer Lord earlier. I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but that mostly missed. And another Earthblood is coming in, healing up the Star Dragon and some of these... No, not these Dragon Princes. They didn't get caught by the spell cast. Unfortunate there, but that shall be the end as VM Jiffy threw in the towel. Yep, sorry about the mistake there. I forgot to check the names on the player list. But overall, a really solid kiting performance from the High Elf army here. The Psycho Charges were definitely on point from the Dragon Princes, although they still take damage as they charge into the enemy troops. The Star Dragons have been killing a lot of stuff with the breath attacks and the armor piercing attacks, and just solid performance overall. Elarian Reaver Archers doing some nice damage, and with the healing from the Archmage of Life, everything held together in the end. And the Warriors of Chaos unfortunately just got Psycho Charged to death and harassed to death by a combination of Archers, Reaver Archers and Dragon Princes. Really not a lot of damage on most of them here. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord did some damage, but he's on a dragon, so it's super expensive, and I don't think that recovered their cost. Infantry wise, basically sitting ducks there, being hit hard by all kinds of Psycho Charges. This one Chaos Warrior did well recover enough of its cost, but the rest of the units not so much. Hellstriders after the nerf unfortunately just doesn't hold up that well anymore. I am glad to see it. Just might be a bit too harsh on the Hellstriders, I guess, with the massive buffs to massive debuffs to massive nerfs to everything, really. Now we have can we cast everything before... Wait, did I not get the battle between Phoenix King and Stormrunner? Oh, I did not. Okay, we can cast one more battle before the start of the next tournament, the NA time zone tournament. So we can cast Phoenix King versus Stormrunner. Both are great players. Let's see. Ooh, Wood Elves versus Slaanesh. Right, yeah. The first battle Phoenix King sent is actually Slaanesh versus Wood Elves. And it seems that the Wood Elves is going for a mass melee rush. 4 Dryads, 3 War Dancers, 4 Glade Riders, 4 more Glade Riders with their bows and arrows, and then also a Hunters of Kernus, supported by a Mage of Life with, of course, oh wait, I thought it's, no, that's not Regrowth, Dwellers Below and Earthblood, while the Slaanesh army, a mixture of Forsaken Infantry and Daemonites of Slaanesh, and with their light armor on the Daemonites, they will suffer heavily at the hands of Glade Riders, despite their lack of armor piercing. On the flanks, Hellstriders are moving in, Chaos Knights of Slaanesh with lances as well, since they are a heavy cavalry, and the Wood Elves generally do have a hard time dealing with them. Exalted Keeper of Slaanesh, I don't think that is the greatest choice here, but we'll see what they can do. They do have a lot of spells, Phantasmagoria, Acquiescence, and, well, these are not spells, but abilities. Ballad of Blows to charge up that damage as long as he is engaged in melee, I assume, and Seductive, wait, no, that's an active ability that charges up. Anyways, Seductive Glory for reduced melee defenses. You can see that action is already going pretty heavily with Demonists charging into War Dancers. Both are doing massive damage against each other, but it seems that with the help of the Exalted Keepers of Slaanesh, the Dryads and War Dancers will be pushed away by the Daemonites, who have magic damage, ignoring the physical resistance on the War Dancers and Dryads. But the Dryads over here, combined with the War Dancers, are doing pretty damn well, cutting down the Forsakens, but the Daemonites are closely behind, while there's a lot of cavalry engagement going on the flanks here. Chaos Knights with lances charging into Glade Riders, who are sacrificing themselves to slow down enemy troops, while Dryads and the Wild Hunters of Kernus, who does have anti-lodge and magic attacks, should trade pretty well against the Eternal Entourage here. Relying on their physical resistance to protect themselves, they can't really do much against the Wild Hunters of Kernus, especially with the anti-large bonus making them extra effective against the Eternal Entourage cavalry. Hellstriders also suffering massive damage, and especially with the Dryad saturating on top here, providing some more magic attack damage, the Eternal Entourage will be melted away, while the Glade Riders are just kiting away with their shots. On this side over here, Glade Riders are still trying to slow down the advance of the Chaos Knights with lances. More Glade Riders are being thrown into the fray so that the Wild Hunters of Kernus can focus down the Eternal Entourage, but unfortunately they lost their frenzy due to their reduction of leadership, and they will be terrified away early, although thankfully they're regrouping. Now over here, the Spellweaver of Life trying her best to get out of dodge, being hunted down by the Exalted Keeper of Slaanesh. These Wild Hunters of Kernus needs to get there and support their Liege Lord, but unfortunately they're not quite in the position to do so, being hit by a lot of Chaos Knights with lances here. Glade Riders will be shooting into the fray, trying to chip away their health. The Spellweaver of Life barely managed to get back into the skies, but unfortunately being hit by Fascination, and once again she'll be engaging into very unfavorable combat, but for some reason the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is running away, possibly seeing not sure why. Perhaps attacking AI being weird again, but oh, they're going for a rear charge, circling around and just hit it up in the back and doing massive damage. But whether it's worth it, I'm not sure, because at this point, a lot of these Slaanesh mobility are pretty much close to being done for. And yeah, slowly being worked down by a combination of melee troops and being shot up. But I feel like at this point, Glade Riders should really shoot at the Exalted Keeper of Secrets right now, since he is exposed, he is light in armor, and it's just the perfect unit to being focused down. The eagle was bugged and stuck flying, so nobody would hit it. Weird. I guess as usual, the patch being weird, and CA messed up once again. Anyways, Wild Hunters of Kernus going for one wild charge. This should probably go down after this charge being hit back by the Chaos Knights with lances, but the Chaos Knights with lances seems to be having their attention turned elsewhere, charging into the Dryads and War Dancers, doing some pretty neat impact damage with the help of the Exalted Keeper of Slaanesh, and a whip coming in, I forgot the name of it, a Lash of Slaanesh, doing some pretty good damage to the War Dancers as well. and their leadership will be lowered. But there are still a lot of Glade Riders firing in. And the more they shoot, the more they chip away the health of the Exalted Keeper of Slaanesh. And unfortunately, that shall spell the end of the army of the the army of She Who Thirsts. Performance-wise, Chaos Knights with Lances did pretty solid. Almost recovered their damage value. Eternal Entourage still managed to recover a lot of value despite fighting an unfavorable engagement. Exalted Keeper of Slaanesh also do a lot of damage, but the infantry not so much overall. Wait, that's still quite impressive damage from a lot of these units, but I guess the Daemonites cost quite a bit. And Forsaken didn't exactly carry themselves, while the Wood Elves here healed back a lot of the damage they dealt with the Spell Weaver of Life here, doing some pretty minor damage overall, mostly just spending their magic on the Earthblood spells. Infantry-wise, Dryads did pretty solid here, since they do have a lot of magic damage to ignore that Slaanesh physical resistance, and they do have Frenzy, which is great against the Glass Cannon-y Slaanesh roster. War Dancers did alright. This one did good, but the other two not so much. This one did alright, I guess, recovering more than half of their value and still having half the models left. Hunters of Kurnoss did solid overall, as long as they are fighting with their magic attacks and anti-large. The poor Slaanesh army can't really stand against them. Glade Riders, Glade Riders mostly there to slow down enemy mobility and maybe do some charge damage and buy time for the Glade Riders with their bows and arrows to shoot, and most of them earn back their own value overall. So pretty solid stuff. Actually, yeah, 2 of them earn back their own value, but the other 2 that didn't also did some solid damage. Anyways, I should go and check in on the NA time zone. Oh, yep, I got checked in by CoolUmbrella, and we seems to have 8 players. Yeah, I'll just quickly post the stream link in the BBB Discord so that we can have a few more players coming in to check out the stream. And yeah, we'll try to do the rest of the battles in the intermissions between battles, but first of all, I will be playing in the tournament myself, so yeah, we'll be doing that first, and hopefully yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens next. Okay. Let's hope for the best and see what happens. And who's my first opponent here? I don't know whether the Strike Games. I don't know whether the brackets will be shuffled again, but we shall see. Because the next battle would be the best of 3 finals, and I don't want to just cast them separately. I want to just cast them all at once. So let's see. Yeah, let's see what are we gonna who are we gonna play against in roughly 3 minutes time. And at the same time, I will be topping up my water bottle and hydrate a bit and come back in a sec. Oh, actually, I need a midnight snack. I'm hungry. And I'm back. What's happening, chat? Have you been behaving? Yeah. Phoenix King, I guess we're all tired right now. You're in European time zones, right? So, yeah, we're kind of all... What? Yeah, it's like 1/2 for me. If you're like further to the east, you'd be like, what, 2, 3 in the morning? God. Okay, also let me know if there's any oh, have to. Oh god. That sucks big time. But yeah. Also let me know if there's any hiccups in the streaming quality. But yeah, let me just quickly check and see if my opponent's strat game. Oh, tournament is live. And we shall face strat game. Ugh. The epitome of rush. Yeah, the epitome of rushing. Everything is a rush or a kite, or a Russian kite. Let's see who's gonna get wrecked on stream. You got a lobby, Strat? And at the same time, I'll be eating my midnight snack or midnight dinner or something. I'm hungry. I need like energy to go. Just reheating some leftover vegetable soup and yeah. Oh, everyone's in the Vermin League voice chat. I'm not joining the voice chat since I'm streaming, unfortunately. But yeah. Let's see what happens. Oh god, playing till 5 or 6, that sounds horrible. Anyways, I forgot, what is the pick and ban system again? Anyone remind me? It's been a while since I last played it. Pick 3, ban 3, player 2 pick their faction and ban 1 faction. Top player pick 3, ban 3, and then I'll pick. And then, okay. Picks and bans? Okay. So I'm just waiting for Strat to pick up the army. And if we have enough time between the decision between the semi-finalists being decided, we can perhaps stream the finals of the European time zones. But we'll see. I'm still waiting on Strat to pick 3, ban 3, and we'll see. But yeah, Fierce King, how do you even stay till 5 to play the game? I feel like my performance starts dropping as soon as 2 AM hits. Actually, no, 1 AM hits, and I just can't micro like half as good as I am usually. Like I would be forgetting units all over the place, and also like I can't react as fast, and it just sucks. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Strat games. Against Skaven, Dark Elves, Vampires. Banning Ogre Kingdoms out of everything, for fuck's sake. Dark Elves and Skaven. That's hard. Wait, can I do this? Probably. I feel like. This is a rough choice. I'll ban. I guess I'll ban Dark Elves, and banning the picking. I gotta pick something, I suppose. What's the map? Skyward Sword, so not that much vegetation. Fine. Let's go with banning Dark Elves, picking Norsca. I've been enjoying using these icy boys for a while. Oh, looks like Vampires it is. Alright, and we're going Norsca. What can we do here? Let's see. It's not like I need to have actual performance for domination. Fair point. Can't fault you on that one. Okay. We can get something like... yeah, I guess that will do. Fuck it. Let's go. I don't even know if does this work. Whatever. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Buna and Soaplight. We don't need these. No, we don't need that. The real question is how, there's gonna be bombers though. Fine. Bombers gonna be annoying. That's a real question of how to deal with that shit. Okay. Let's try. I mean, I want to bring Familiar Warriors, and I don't really mind what happens here because Familiar Warriors seems to be pretty good against small arms fires these days. Just because they have been buffed in terms of missile resistance and stacking from the mist, which adds another 20% missile resistance. You got 45% missile resistance just on the unit itself, as long as they're above half leadership. And then you put another Skinwolf Warrior on top, you have 55% with the Ruinous Flesh, they have 55% missile resistance. It's pretty fun and ridiculous stuff overall, but yeah. We'll see what happens. And then we just need a lot of these. We don't have enough Skinwolves. Shit. We might have too much. Nah, we'll just get Ice Wolves and call it a day. Fuck it. I probably should be bringing Burning Head. Yeah, I should bring Burning Head. Fuck it. What am I doing? Burning Head. I don't really need this, I guess. Fireball. Let's go. Actually, maybe bring the Familiar Bale Fiend instead. That would be fine. From the mist, Arcane Conduit. That. Burning Head. Fireball. That should be all. And we're pretty close to spending limit, which is, I guess, nice. But, this is tight. This is really freaking tight, but we'll see. Ready. Pole arms and death guards awaits me, but I guess I'll just bolt them and burn them. I don't have. This is gonna be rough. We'll see what happens. I'm just experimenting with army builds, really. Plus, even if I lose, I still get to cast the tournament and see everything to the end. It's fine. Or maybe I have a bad feeling about this. Strike Games is gonna spam Mongol and Mongol Hunter and Scurvy Dogs. Shit, that might actually be the case. Fuck. I might have misjudged my army. I don't think there will be a heavy pole arms army because it's Strike Games after all. I don't know. But bad feeling about this really. I do need enough firepower to counter skirmish though, so I guess these will have to do. And Burning Head wouldn't exactly have a good use. Oh, I should have kept my Fit of Yuna and all. Ah well. Too late to regret now, but okay, we have enough docks at the back, I guess. But yeah. This is not gonna be fun at all. Ready when you are. I don't even. Let's see what happens. Alright, it seems that our opponent is also ready. Let's go, die. It's actually a box! Oh my god! What the hell? Strike Games, you have changed! What is this? Line of Death Guards and more Death Guards. What the fuck? Okay, fine. We'll have to fight this. One way or the other. It's gonna be rough, but yeah. I don't look forward to this at all, but let's just get around there. Are these pistols 90? We have to shoot these guys to get to the stuff at the back. That's annoying. Yeah, you know what? I'll just march these guys up. What are these? Gunnery mob with 9. Yeah, these are just pistol mobs. It's fine. This is fine. Oh, I forgot. Fine. Shoot these guys, please. Please, shoot these guys. Come on, shoot them. Okay, we need to move in. Otherwise we'll not be fulfilling the attacking rule and all that. And we can shoot them. It's fine. They're just shrugging off the shots. It's fine. Oh, time to turn back and start moving up these guys. Everyone go in there. I don't give a shit what you do, but just like brick them, I guess. That's what the master's bid. Okay, you guys go in there. Bolt everything in there, plus a little bit of a burning head. Everything goes down there. I want you to breach everything, and by everything I mean literally everything. Go in. Okay, these guys pull out. Now get in there. Okay. We've got through some of those halberds. Okay, these guys can kite. I mean, these guys will have to kite. Okay, these guys back up. The familiars are not holding up too. Are not feeling too good. Oh. Okay, go in there. Okay. Charge them. Ooh. Get those. Okay. Time to just. Can we burn? We can't burn everything. We can't burn everything down. Fuck. Well, we can burn everything down. That's fine. Get them down. I don't give a shit anymore. Just get down. We're running out of bodies. Just get them dead. Okay, another boat's coming in. Which I'll go down here. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. Everything's fine. This is the definition of everything burning down and still claiming to be fine. But yeah, front line's not winning out. Fuck. Balance of power is in my favor, but these are coast. They have healing. They can get healing when they need it. Shit. Yep, the familiars are dying, and the fucking. And the damn death guards are just not breaking. Stay in the fight longer. I just need you guys to stay in the fight for a bit longer. Wolfric is still in the fight, which is good. I didn't get to use his Sword of Torgold much here, so it's quite unfortunate. You know what? There we go. And he's getting shredded by those. Okay. You guys shoot these. And Wolfric, get out of there. And he fucking dies. Anyways. Okay, the last of the death guards are almost done for. These death guards are almost done for, but there's still a lot of death guards left on the field. Fuck. Next to die is gonna be the familiar Battlefield, which is bad news for me. Fuck. Just keep shooting. The Battlefield needs to get out of dodge. Wolfric is being chased, and I don't have stuff to get those fucking death guards. Balance of power is now against me because my stuff is just sitting there and getting shot. Oh, my micro is not there. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, can we get something like? Can we do something? Well, that's probably not going to be enough. Okay. We've got some stuff back, so we can probably start mounting another offensive. Maybe get these things start routing again. This is not a good trade. We'll just get them behind. You guys will have to. Nope. And they're just getting shredded. Great fun.
Okay, these hounds are still kind of fighting, which is good, but I don't think we have much gas in here. Just have to burn everything down if we can. Don't know if we can. Missiles are a massive problem here, and we got some good damage there. Oh, Wolfric gets caught. No, he'll just have to run out of there himself. But can he run out of there? That's a real question. Probably not. Big mistake. That might have cost me the game. Might have cost me the game there. Just need something to shut them down. Oh, Wolfric isn't dead, so which is fine, I guess. Kind of. Not great, but kind of fine. Ugh, just have to fireball her. Skin Wolfric is still holding on, which is good news. And nice fireball. Time to run now. Time to run now. And yeah, keep kiting, keep kiting, keep kiting. Just keep kiting. Just keep kiting, boys. Wait, what? Okay, you're back? Okay. Not bad. Okay. Just keep shooting. Just keep shooting. Just throw in another fireball. Please don't hit my own stuff. Might have hit my own stuff. And we didn't hit our own stuff, but we also didn't hit their stuff, which is awkward. Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably game. No. Yeah, I can't counter kite good enough, and balance of powers is just getting crushed by the summons. GG though. GG though. Yep. GG. Good game, well played. Still, Familiar Warriors are solid now. They just kind of shrugs off any kind of missile fire these days, but yeah. Oops. Okay, army performances wise, we burned down a lot of zombies. What the fuck? 2,700 gold worth of damage value on the Familiar Battlefield. We didn't get to use the third bolt on Wolfric, but still did some nice damage, I suppose. But perhaps I should put him on foot or something. I don't know. He did take a lot of damage because I left him on top of the Death Gods. 3,300 gold worth of damage value on these guys. Cut down my Familiar Warriors and also Wolfric himself, and then cut down the Familiar Battlefield. The yikes. Probably the most damage I've seen on a Death God, really. Actually, the rest of my army Familiars didn't do that much damage, unfortunately. Mostly there to bust through the Death Gods, lower their armor with the Armor Sundering, so that the other stuff at the back, like the Marauder Hunters and whatnot, can do more damage. Marauder Horses not doing a lot of damage, unfortunately. I did left them in front of the pistols for a little too long, while the Marauders infantry did okay, I suppose. Yeah. Wolves and... yeah, the Wolves, I probably mismicro them. Wolves and Warhounds not doing much damage in general. Perhaps I should switch them to more Marauder infantry, maybe? I don't know. I haven't been playing Norsca much until today. But yeah. For me, Jason Thompson, Familiar Battlefield might be a weakling. I do think that Familiars can be pretty good against any kind of missile faction these days, just because they have 55% missile resistance and they can bust through armored frontline pretty well. I've been using them against Chaos Dwarfs and it's been okay. They've been performing decent. Like, they don't take much damage from magma cannons just because of the sheer amount of missile resistance, their armor, and also their low unit model count.
And even against blunderbusses, it takes like 3-4 volleys to get them down to rout. And before that, you can probably already plow those familiar warriors into a Chaos Dwarf front line and start hacking everything down, especially when debuffing the enemy armor, allowing more units to do more damage. So anyways, the rest of the army here, the Death Guards did exceptional on this one. The others also did, this one did okay. The others just got wrecked by a combination of Burning Head and the boat. Bombers did not that much damage, and zombie powered deckhand mobs and all that, yeah, did all right. They did what they had to do. Buy time for the pistols to shoot, and also for the bombers to chuck bombs, and then the Death Guards will be holding them back. Celestra did some minor damage, but mostly there to drop in some summons. But yeah, GG's Rec Games, that was well played. And definitely a well thought out army. The line formation might be weird, but against, like, usually I only see line formation when I'm playing against newer line battle players, but I can see that working in here because, well, I don't have that many line destruction spells other than Wolfric and the Burning Head. Both net me some decent value, I guess, but in the end, the sheer tenacity of Death Guards fucked my build up. And yes, that shall be my run in the tournament. Next up, it's gonna be semi-finalists and all that. So at the same time, do we have any? Yeah, some scores. Do we have? Oh, okay, Phoenix King and Saber's Ragdom are ready up and ready to go actually. Let me see if they are ready to actually start the game. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Ooh, no? Is it this one? No. Oh, it seems that Phoenix King is hosting their game. So we will be waiting for them to throw me a code, and then we will drop in to spectate the semifinals live, as Saber's Ragdom will be doing a rematch against Phoenix King. They actually had they actually were the finalists in the Euro time zone, but it seems that they'll be fighting in the okay, there we go. Yeah, it seems that they will be doing a rematch in the NA time zone as well. And I'll be chugging down some vegetable soup because, man, I'm hungry. Oh shit. I forgot about that part. There we go. My bad. But yeah, High Elves versus Demon of Chaos. Interesting. Okay. Jason Thompson got it. The payout didn't seem to be there. You spend that much on a unit, it seems they need to do more damage. Definitely. Yeah, perhaps not. Yeah, perhaps not against Vampire Coast where they have a bunch of Death Guards, great at armor piercing and all that, but I would imagine they would be fine against Dwarfs and Chaos Dwarfs. And I've been using it into other armies as well. Like, actually, against High Elves would be a pretty solid option because they rely so much on their archer line to shoot your stuff up. And they rely on the fire weakness to bust through your skin wolves. But against a familiar Bale Fiend, their archers would be useless after all the armor reduction and also the missile resistance reduction. Let me just give them a go.
Yeah. If you're throwing familiar warriors into a high elf matchup, it's actually pretty nice. Like, I can just like the if you might have remember I posted a video about Vamir Balefin armor debuff build, which is made by Mr. Teufel. That build can nuke down Imric in a matter of seconds because of all the Vamir Balefin debuff, Hunter of Champions debuff plus a Plague of Rust over cast version, getting yourself 120 armor debuff. So anything will be debuffed down to 0 or at least close to it in terms of armor. And even if you don't bring a Lore of Metal because you want Spirit Leech and whatnot, you can just bring Lore of Death. Soul Blight, that's 30 armor, then Armor of Champions another 30, and then another 30 from the Armor Sundering from the Vamir Balefin, that's like 90 armor debuff, plus another 25% of weapon damage reduction, which allows you to go, which allows Wolfric to go head to head against Imric, really. And I've actually had a pretty nice high elf match again with this build. And yeah, Famirs might just be meta again. Oh well, they're not meta again since they were never meta before, but yeah, Famirs might just be meta. Wait, what? Wood Elves? Wood Elves versus Demon of Chaos. Okay. That works too, I guess. Oh, they're still picking and banning, so okay. So Ogre Kingdoms versus Wood Elves. Interesting. This is a spicy boy. I root for Ogre Kingdoms, but I also root for Wood Elves. I do like Wood Elves a lot. Their aesthetic is possibly my favorite in the entire game, and yeah. Especially you have the Wild Riders Reindeer Cavalry. That is just so cool. And then, like, I remember liking the Reindeer Cavalry a lot and played them for like years, and then at the point where they introduced the Stag Knights, I was like, damn, heavy cavalry for the Wood Elves. I mean, they're not exactly heavy as they do not have much armor, but they're definitely a powerful shock cav, and I do love the design on those guys. Like, damn, they just look so nice. Okay. Seems like Phoenix King is ready, so we'll just wait a bit for Saber's Regnum with his Ogre Kingdoms. Both are having some interesting builds. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Screen blocker will still be on, unfortunately, since they're still loading in. But yeah, I do like both builds. I don't have the micro to pull off Phoenix King's build, but yeah, this will be fun. Let's go. And we wait. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, Phoenix King does have a little bit of a internet connection issue, so we'll see. Like, my internet connection is definitely fine these days. Very fortunately, my new place does have a very very fast internet in my standard. It's not like a gigabyte per second, but it's good enough for me to stream in higher quality and all that. So thankfully for that. But yeah, let's see. Army builds. I can finally introduce them. Phoenix King, a line of eternal gods. I really love them because they are just such a cost-effective spear unit. They have armor piercing, they have anti-large, and they have solid melee defense. Yeah, overall just solid. And then we have a lot of Way Watchers. These guys require a lot of micro to play. And then 4 Wild Riders, one of them the Wild Hunters of Kernus. While on the other side we have a front line of 5 Noble Trappers, also one of my favorite units in the entire Ogre rosters. The other one, the Saber-Tusk Packs. And there will be a Snowhorn of Morn leading the way. Probably will be leading the charge as well. Sky Strider for more missile resistance, and 2 Scrap Launcher. Once again, a kiting Ogre build. Interesting. And this is... Wait, is this like the exact same build against the... Yeah, this seems to be the exact same build against the Vampire Coast. Against Kiara. Okay, anyways, Lead Belchers here. Way Watchers. Yeah, Way Watchers deployed. Okay, they... And then... Oh, a Glade Lord. I do like this. One of my first meme army builds is actually the very first meme army build I made is a melee rush build for the Wood Elves. I didn't post it or made it into a video first. I did it like a few weeks, months later. But yeah, basically the idea is just go in with the Glade Lord with all his melee buffs, including... Wait, no, this is not the melee lord. Okay, never mind. The Prey of Anaphrema one, which makes more sense actually. Just for the controlling ability to trap enemy units and all that. And yeah, double Scrap Launchers. Let's see what they do. They are... Ooh, a volley from Way Watchers shooting into the Lead Belchers. They do have enough range for that. So the Lead Belchers, which probably better to just back away. Ooh, a nice use of Toothbreaker now though. Giving them 22% of missile resistance, making them more resilient against missile fire. But at the same time, the Way Watchers are just moving out of way. They are indeed quite fast for an infantry with 40 speed. They are just backing off. While the Lead Belchers with 42 speed, not exactly enough to constantly keep them in range. And the Wood Elf will be kiting. This is going to be a long game, boys. Phoenix King is very patiently moving his units back and forth right now. The Scrap Launchers are acting kind of crap right now. And the Lead Belchers are almost done for. Their HP is extremely low and they do not have enough speed to... or the low unit model count to juke every shot. And every time they got hit, they just lose a huge chunk of HP. Routing the first time, the Noble Trappers are pushing forward, but there are the Wild Riders and Eternal Gods here ready to counter-attack. Though the Wild Riders do have to be careful, they do not want to charge the Noble Trappers. They have missile fire that can chip away their health very effectively, and more importantly, Noblest traps to slow them down and allow stuff like Saber-Tusk Pack, who has massive weapon strength at 70, to countercharge and just destroy the Wild Riders in a charge. What is the magic? Okay, magic wise for the Wood Elves is a Spell of Life Spell Singer, Lore of Life Spell Singer with Earthblood and Regrowth. Okay, this is something we have to be patient. This is indeed a kite game. Ooh, and on the very far side, the Lead Belchers still have 11 models are now being healed up by a Troll Gut, getting some of their lost hit points back, and they should be able to get around back to half health of the unit, which is basically most of the HP on these unit models. Crab Launchers are still shooting, but they're just not doing much damage. This one did some pretty nice stuff, but just landing short of the Wild Riders. And if the Wild Riders are constantly moving, they just have it. They just wouldn't hit because of their slow projectile speed. Really. And the projectile speed aren't guided. So there's that. Anyways, Wild Rider seems to be going in for a charge, while the Snowhorn of Mon has been pinned down by the Prayer of Anathema. Missile resistance has been reduced down to 0 thanks to the Prayer of Anathema. Now the Glacial Defense is on, but at this point they're already half HP down. More Way Watcher shots are still going in, and with their armor piercing not hitting. Because, oh, Toothcracker as well, 22% missile resistance, up to 66 missile resistance right now, but the Way Watcher fire is still taking a toll on the Snowhorn of Morn. While the frontline Nobblers and Saber-Tusk packs are overwhelmed by a combination of Eternal Gods and Wild Riders, crushing them absolutely. But on the other side, the Wild Riders are not that lucky, being countercharged by double Saber-Tusk packs. One of them are getting absolutely destroyed, and considering that 2 Saber-Tusk packs are still cheaper than 1 Wild Rider, this might actually be a pretty fair trade. A beneficial trade for the Ogres, as the Saber-Tusk packs here are still fighting at the back. The Glade Lord and all the Wild Riders have broken through the Nobbler front line and now surging into the back line, pushing back all these Lead Belchers. The Snowhorn of Mon is completely melted by a combination of Way Watcher fire, and that might just be it for the Ogre Kingdoms. Lead Belchers now are facing the wrong way as they have been retreating, and they're not actually firing. Sky Strider is being tied down by a lot of Wild Riders and shot up by Way Watchers. They are destroyed as well. On the other side, now the Wild Riders of Colonels has been victorious, beating back the Saber-Tusk packs, and the Ogres do not exactly have the stuff to beat back the Wild Hunters, the super elite Wild Riders, and Snowhorn of Morn, despite returning to a fight with the support of the Sky Striders, and they're actually doing some massive damage to the Glade Lord. Unfortunately, the Snowhorn will be finished off by the Way Watchers. The Crab Launchers are still firing, but they're just not dishing out enough damage. These guys have been firing the whole time, but only 162 gold on these guys, and the other 362 gold. Yeah, they're just crap. I mean, partially because they couldn't shoot the Way Watchers, because the Way Watchers are in stock mode and cannot be spotted, but this is just rough for them. I just don't believe in crab launchers, really. I mean, as the name suggests, I do believe them as crap. So, anyways, Wild Riders will be finishing off the rest of the Sky Striders. They are running down the Nobbler Trappers. Nobbler's grab launchers are still there, but what can they do, right? The Way Watchers, they now have the leisure to dump ammo into Nobblers. So, things are not looking great for the Ogre Kingdoms at all. It pains me to see it, but unfortunately I don't think this build works against Way Watcher concentration fire. Personally, I would just spam Iron Fist, Ogre Bulls, and Nobbler Infantry and Saber-Tusk packs, and then spam Lead Belchers, I suppose, and just shoot up everything I see. I don't know. I haven't played this matchup much. Last time I did, I was sending in some Man-Eaters to cut down stuff like Wild Riders and whatnot, but I don't think it works against Phoenix King here. So yeah, that is gonna be the end of the Ogre Kingdoms, and I'm just gonna take another bite of my food to mourn for the Belly Boys. Eating in honor of the faction literally famous for eating. Strike Games, 3 Crushers, 3 Saber-Tusk, and 2 Belchers, 5 Trappers. I will probably lower the Crusher amount and just get more Saber-Tusk and Nobblers. Just to, like, swarm stuff, I guess. But that, yeah, actually that sounds like a good build, actually. That sounds like a solid build. Anyways. Oh, no! I couldn't save it. Okay. Can I save it here? Give me a second. I want to save the game. Let me save this. Okay. TPK for the Sabres. That's fine. So, army performances, basically the Way Watchers carried everything here. Getting well over their costs, while Hunters of Colonels are absolutely solid, really. the Wild Riders did some pretty good damage countercharging the Saber-Tusk packs, but the Saber-Tusk also did some decent damage. 2 of them recovered their own cost, the other 2 not so much, being hit hard by the countercharge of Wild Riders and whatnot. Lord-wise, the Glade Lord did some solid damage with the shot, I assume, and yeah. And some of the melee attacks, the armor piercings, great stacks. Infantry-wise, Eternal Gods doing a pretty good job with their good melee stats and all that. And yeah. Basically, yeah, just shoot everything the Ogres have. For the Ogre Kingdoms, Sky Striders managed to do some good damage in the end, but that's like, what, more than half of their unit cost? 2/3 probably. Snowhorn of Morn getting melted by the Way Watchers. It's just too big of a target. And the armor piercing of the Way Watcher fire is just too good. Even the stacking of missile resistance is not gonna be enough to save the Snowhorn. Lead Belchers did some okay damage. Probably could do more if they stayed alive a little bit longer, but you probably need like 4 Lead Belchers in this matchup even. Yeah, 4 Lead Belchers would be good actually. Now that I think about it. Just push up the Nobblers and let the Lead Belchers counterfire and shoot up all those Eternal Gods, possibly. Scrap Launchers, Crap Launchers, same thing. Not much damage. Missing a lot, and the damage isn't great either. Yeah. I just don't like the unit, really. Saber-Tusk pack, we talked about them. Nobblers, some of them did pretty good. Like, you can see that even against all these Wild Rider charge, as long as they can slow down enemy units and shoot them with their scrap, and they can get some pretty good trade, especially they're just dirt cheap. So, yeah. Pretty good. A valiant effort from Saber's Regnum here, but yeah, Way Watcher Fire. Just, you can't really kite against the Wood Elves here. Who's next? Cool. Strat Games versus Black Knight. Anyways, GG to Phoenix King and Saber's Regnum. I'm just gonna hop on over to a different game now. Spectate. And it's time to bring back the screen blocker. There we go. I'll leave enough for you guys to know which factions they are taking. But actually, do we? Nah, I'll just be casting the finals and then casting another best of 3, I suppose. But yeah, where's Black Knight? Anyone knows? Oh, cool. He's in. He's in. And we can get the game started. I mean, not yet. They still have to pick and ban. Okay, pick and ban. Black Knight chose Dark Elves, High Elves, and Bretonnia. That's a lot of cavalry factions. Banning Dark Elf, Ogre Kingdoms, and Skaven. Interesting. Yeah, Ogre is a strong faction now, I suppose. They used to be... People used to trash them, but ever since people discovered the use of Nobblers, suddenly they're... Everyone's... Nobblers, Crushers, and Saber-Tusk packs. Everyone's been using them. Not everyone per se, but definitely a lot more Ogre Kingdoms coming up. The meta was like, what? Lead Belchers? I mean, they used to be the meta when Gorgers were still a thing, were still a broken mess. But once the Gorgers got nerfed to dirt, once the Gorgers got nerfed to the ground, people just thought they suck as a faction. But then they have just ignored the Nobblers, the damn Nobbler trappers. I swear they're one of the best units for the entire Ogre roster. Because they're so cost effective, they're cheap chaff that can slow enemy down and also have some very cost effective missile damage. They can easily damage anything more expensive than them and will recover their cost. They're like Bretonnian archers, but shorter range, but they're shorter in range, but they have a very useful Nobbler trap ability, which I do find it absolutely useful in protecting your flanks and slowing down monsters. Knighthood, Black is actually not on demons right now. He actually chose Dark Elves, High Elves, and Bretonnian. So yeah, unfortunately no Demons of Chaos today. They're just a default faction being chosen for the second player of the lobby, I think. The Phoenix King, I beat the build strike game with this exactly with... Oh. Looks like Phoenix King is challenging strike games to... about the Ogre build. I mean, personally, I would just spam Ogre Bulls with Iron Fist and just try to overwhelm the Wood Elf lines with everything. Saber Tusk packs, Ogre Bulls, more Ogre Bulls, and perhaps some Iron Fists. Iron Fist or Great Weapons, Mornfang Cavalry. That would probably be my pick. Beastmen banning High Elves. Strat Game's going for Beastmen banning High Elves, so I am expecting to see... Dark Elves or Bretonnian? I think Bretonnian is more likely. I'm not sure. Granted, I haven't been playing much tournament usually, so I don't exactly know the meta of the tournament. But I suppose... Ooh, High Elves with their recent changes to the Grail Guardians. That might be it. Oof. Although Dark Elves is still very strong though. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm pretty sure both players... Like, oh, it is indeed Bretonnians. I have gotten the guess right. Yay. And there goes my midnight snack. And I'm full. And ready to go. What a party pooper banning his main faction despite it not being the strongest. Well, you see, I was playing against Strat Games earlier. He picked Vampire Coast as one of his pick 3 factions. And then he banned Ogres as one of them. I'm just sitting there being like, now what? My main faction is gone. What can I do? Anyways, while Strat Games and... Strat Games, why are you here on the chat? You're supposed to go into the battle and pick your damn army and ready up. We're waiting on you, dude. Okay, thank you. Alright. Well, anyways. Built. Ooh, double gorgeous. Still quite... It's a disgusting combo here. They just kind of like grind through everything and heals back up. And can probably heal cap themselves every damn time. But we'll see if the now new and improved Grail Guardians can beat them. Because we do have 3 of them in this combat alone. Which makes me quite excited to see them. Like, I haven't seen a single battle showcasing the Grail Guardians. Or I missed somebody else's videos. But I don't think I've seen Human Boy or Dav showcasing them. So, and we don't really have that many land battles caster. Like, I'm the 3rd one, I think. So, and I totally have not played a single game of Bretonnian or against Bretonnian in this patch. So, yeah. yeah, nobody showcased Grail Guardians. What the fuck? Anyways, army builds. Grail Guardians, chaffy peasant mobs, yeah, just 3 elite Grail Guardian cavalry, mounted yeomen, a bunch of spears, more mounted yeomen, and a single 3 Grail Guardians in total, 3 peasant bows, a lot of spearmen at arms with shields, King Luan Kerr, on Beaky, bringing in the ladies champion for regeneration, beloved son of Bretonnia in case he got hit and down to half health, giving everything immune to psychology, blessing of the lady to get some additional physical resistance, and a life damsel for regrowth and earthblood. Extremely important here for the Grail Guardians, just to top them up, keeping them healthy in fights. For the Beastman army, a front line of Angor spears mixed in with Angors spears and axes, just going as wide as possible to wrap around the Bretonian front line and get to their back line, I assume. At the back, 3 units of Angor raiders. It's gonna be a fight of cheap bows and arrows. And on the side, Santagors, multiple of them, 4 of them in fact. There will be 2 Gorgons at the back and a single Great Brave Shaman of Wild on his Tuskor chariot, providing some spell support, well, 1 spell support in the form of Traitor Kin to drain away enemies' health. Now, they're not as good against cavalry as before, but they should still do some nasty damage against an expensive Grail Guardian. Now, all 3 Grail Guardians have been concentrated onto one side of the battlefield. Actually, no, they're just behind. Oh yeah, they're just behind, sitting back and holding. Now, peasant mobs are rotating alongside the entire Bretonnian formation, and they will just get soon charged by a lot of these Angors and just get shredded. Great Brave Shaman of Wild might be getting a little ahead of himself, getting hit by a couple big shots from Luan Kerr, but then he did help to rout off the peasant mobs, and with all the Angor hordes surging forward, the Bretonians might be in a bit of trouble as they cannot protect the peasant bows with their crumbling front line. Peasant yeomen try to overwhelm the Santagors with their, well, overwhelming numbers, but unfortunately Santagors are a solid cavalry, and once they countercharge, they will just dish out massive pain against Bretonnian mounted yeomen. While on the other side here, peasant infantry are just getting shredded by a combination of Angor firepower and the Angor herd pushing. While over here, the infantry of Beastmen have taken significant damage, one of them being routed, destroyed, almost destroyed by the Grail Guardians charge, especially now that they are buffed up by the Lance formation. Over here, more Santagors coming in, but the Grail Guardians are rushing in. They have elite melee stats. Now only have 50 for some reason. Yes, because they are in the Lance formation, but the increase in mass as well as the charge impact damage allows them to absolutely shred these Santagors to shreds. Well, yeah, get it. Anyways, the mounted yeomen will also be supporting, and the Grail Guardians should be able to fight through hordes of these Angor spears, almost untouched with their heavy armor, great defenses, and all that. And Earthblood, no, not Earthblood, mistaken there. Traitor Kin here, doing some very cost-effective damage against the expensive Grail Guardians, especially with the Gorgons right behind chasing after the Grail Guardians. Yeah, the Grail Guardians are taking massive damage overall. Now, King Loneliker landed, tried to snipe out the Brave Shaman of Wild, but the 2 Gorgons are here to gun him down, and yeah, he doesn't want to stay there for too long, but I reckon he might want to get lower than half health and get that beloved son of Bretonnian active. Anyways, at the back here, peasant bows being pressured by the Santagors, and the cavalry are not exactly in place from Bretonnia to intercept these Santagors. Very unfortunate there, as the peasant bows might be a crucial unit to hunt down the Gorgons in late game, especially given their low armor. They would be very susceptible to enemy missile fire. Okay, finally the first big healing coming in, regrowth onto one of the Grail Guardian unit, giving them a bit of a vigor refresh and also topping their health up. They still have 30 something ish unit models, so it would be great if they can just stay in the fight for a little longer. But unfortunately, at the same time, they're hit by a Traitorkin. It's a 3-for-1. Luanlianker, Grail Guardians, 2 of them, in fact, have been drained away by the very timely, very well-placed Traitorkin. Grail Guardians are still fighting, but the Gorgons are just rampaging through the front line. And the Angkor Raiders have been retreated towards the back here, and perhaps the Grail Guardians will move on to run them down, just to shut down the Beastmen firepower in the late game. Now, Grail Guardians, they are indeed very elite, and they are still fighting on with significant damage to their HP pool. But, yeah, things are not looking great for them so far. And, Grail Guardians over here will be trying to run down all the infantry support for the Beastmen. Balance of power is against the Bretonnians, as you can see up top here, especially when King Luanlianker is taking significant damage fighting 2 Gorgons. But it seems that more healing is coming in to keep the units, all these units here, especially the Grail Guardians, nice and healthy. And this buys time for the Peasant Bulls to keep shooting down the Gorgons here, with the Grail Guardians holding firm. There are more mounted yeomen regrouping from afar, and they shall be running down any tattered units, while the Gorgon are stuck in the middle of this fight. Where is the brave Shaman of Wild? He is routed away by all the elite Bretonnian cavalry. This is very impressive indeed, as the tenacity of the Grail Guardians have pulled back this game. Things were looking quite rough. Wait, oh yeah. Things were looking quite rough for the Bretonnians earlier, but yeah, at this point the Gorgons are running low in terms of HP. All the Peasant Bulls are still firing freely. There's nothing to really shut down the Bretonnian firepower. Grail Guardians are unstoppable at this point. Gorgons, the only thing that can kill them are low in health and will soon be sniped out. So GG to both players here. Very impressive use of the Bretonnian Grail Guardians, and Gorgons seems to be finally encountered their match. They might be able to overpower the Grail Guardians temporarily, but once the Grail Guardians, well, the Grail Guardians really doesn't do much other than hold absolutely for ages with their powerful melee defense and whatnot. They've got physical resistance as well. They have high leadership, almost unbreakable even, and yeah, with the support of King Luanlianker especially, actually, with the Sword of Couronne debuffing the melee defense of the Gorgon, and then King Luan dropping down to rear charge them and whatnot, and the Beastmen infantry push losing steam in the end, all thanks to the sacrifice of the peasants, and then the Grail Guardians getting some insane kills. Pretty solid damage, not enough to cover their costs, but over 100 kills on every single one of them. Yeah, they have been slaughtering all these poor Angors. Do note that, yeah, one thing worth noting is that the Grail Guardians, the Grail Guardians do have splash attack, so every time they strike, they will strike multiple models if they're in an infantry blob, which probably helps out when they are fighting hordes of infantry like the Beastmen Rush. Slaanesh doing very minor damage. Unfortunately, they just are no match against the Grail Guardians. Now, for the infantry, Angkor Raiders did some okay damage, but unfortunately, they were left quite far behind in the formation and were not able to provide any fire support other than the initial stage. The infantry-wise, nope. They just can't fight through the Grail Guardians. And the healing from the Damsel really keeping these elite cavalry alive, making them all the more potent. While Shaman Sorcerer getting 1,200 gold worth of damage value with the Traitorkin, not quite enough to carry the game here. Quite unfortunate indeed. Mounted Yeomen and the Archers did, well, the Archers did solid damage against the lightly armored Gorgon units, and then the peasants, they sacrificed themselves for the safety of their archer brethren and the Grail Guardians, so props to them. For the lady, they die. And King Luanlianker did some nice damage with rear charges and whatnot. And that is it. Yeah, that's it for the semifinals. We'll be moving on to the finals of best of threes, and that will be between the Phoenix King and Black Knight. Shit, that's just gonna be a high elf mashup. Those are two high elf mains. God. Why do we have so many high elf mains in the tournament scene? No, just kidding. I used to be a high elf main as well. But then I just kind of moved on. Knighthood. It seems that we have a Skaven schemer here coming into Insight Drama. We're gonna ban Knighthood. Nah, just kidding. Strike Game is more of like an aggressive player. Every time I play against him, it's gonna be some form of rush, and he rarely boxes. Oh god, the Phoenix King and Strike Games are having a standoff in the chat. Oof. Knighthood, you might want to put a /S right there just to indicate you're in sarcasm. Anyways, what's the pick and bans for the okay. Okay, I see what happened. I see now. Maybe keep player disputes out of the chat here. Perhaps in Discord DMs. Okay, pick High Elves, Dark Elves, Wood Elves, ban Grand Cathay, Bretonnia, and Tzeentch. For Phoenix King and oh, that's for Phoenix King. Yep. Of course. Black Knight picking High Elves and banning High Elves. Again. What the fuck? I thought we would see like a High Elf Civil War, but not, I guess. Not this time. It would be funny though. Black Knight, why are you against your own people? What the fuck is this? Okay, it's gonna be a High Elf versus Dark Elf battle. Phoenix King picking Dark Elves. Black Knight going for High Elves. It's gonna be another Malika versus Imric game, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh. Scourge Runners? Are we seeing Scourge Runners today? I mean, I'm just gonna shut up and not talk about it. I don't want to like influence the player's decision on their army builds. And we'll see. There's a new queen in town. Now, Knighthood, I'm not gonna ban you, but like, just don't do it next time, please. Like, it's fine to have disputes between players. Everyone has conflict with each other, like all the time. It's impossible to have a community without conflict. But please don't put it in a communal space like my chat over here. Leave it inside your DMs if you want to settle anything against another player. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, back to the game pick. Black Knight can't be murdering my fellow high brethren. Fair point. High Elves is indeed a very united people. So it's just gonna be a grudge match today, I assume. Malekith is pre-patched. There's a new queen in town. Are we seeing Malekith today? No, Malekith is pre-patched. Are we seeing Marathi today? There's a new queen in town of Malekith. What do you mean? Are you gonna... But then the thing is, Black Knight saying Malekith is pre-patched meta, there's a new queen in town, which is either... Wait, is that Crone or Morathi. But either ways, you're not playing Dark Elves, so we're not gonna see your new queen. That is very unfortunate, except if you're playing Dark Elves in the next game. There you go. But we'll see. Because Phoenix King is still picking armies in Dark Elves. And our game is on. Right. I heard about that option. Black just DM'd me about the new queen in town. And yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that. Anyways. We might see them in the next battle. We might not, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm just gonna unblock everything. And yeah, I do agree with the new queen in town. I've heard about them. Oops, I bumped into the table. So that's a bit of noise there. And yeah. Anyways, shit. Nope, not the one I wanted to check here. High Elf mirror between two High Elf mains is too great a matter of glory or shame. Indeed, how else are we gonna decide the next Phoenix King? Well, shit. If Phoenix King plays a High Elf... Okay, if Phoenix King plays in a High Elf mirror, and if he loses, does that mean he has to change his name to a, I don't know, High Elf Lord? To a generic High Elf Lord? Okay, that's probably not gonna happen, but fun to speculate. Anyways, this is the first best of 3, and since we don't have that many best of 3s in this tournament, like literally 2 best of 3s. One is already completed and is in the form of replays. We're not gonna put on the score tracker. Totally, air quote, totally not because I am too lazy and did not make any score tracker. Yeah, end of air quote. There we go. Anyways. Bleak Swords for the front line for Phoenix King here, mixed in with Hellebron Knight, and a lot of cavalry in the form of 3 Code 1 Dread Knights, okay, going very elite here. I'm trying to up their sheer stats instead of going for any anti-large attacks. Also, they have heavier armor than Code 1 Knights, if I remember correctly, at 120, plus their heavy shields, bronze shield. So they should be doing fine against the enemy missiles, the archers, for example. The rest of the mobility, Dark Riders, and more Dark Riders. And in the skies, Malekith on a dragon with Gaze of Malice, and of course, the only thing he will ever need, Soul Stealer, and that's it. For the... Wait, does he have anything else? No, nothing. Just Soul Stealer and Gaze of Malice and the standard Dragon Breath. Wait, Noxious Breath doesn't have the melee debuff anymore. Or maybe it still has, it just... Oh wait, no, it just never got... Yeah, it just never got marked on the unit card. Never mind, it probably still debuff melee attack. Anyways, for Black Knight, infantry of spears and then backed up by archers, more mobility in the form of Dragon Princes and these bad boys here, the newly buffed up War Lions. Oh god, this is nice. I haven't seen these guys in a while. I used to love using them into Skavens, but
in game 3 it just doesn't quite work for some reason. Yeah. Or maybe I was just rusty with them. Anyways, I haven't played with these guys for a long time and I do miss them. In the skies, Imrik on his dragon, of course. It's just gonna be Imrik against Malekith again. Yeah, as I predicted. God damn it. Mage of Life coming in with Regrowth and Earth Blood, and that's about it. And oh right, yeah, Cheese Round Chariots on the side. Tactical. Jaima, I haven't streamed your match against. Okay. Jaima, I might stream your match later, but right now let's focus on the game right now. If you or Phoenix King have sent me in the sent in the replay to me, then I might be able to cast them in this stream. But of course, it's like almost 3 o'clock right now, so I can't really do much here. I need to sleep at some point, right? Anyways, there's not much happening right now. Cheese Runner Chariot's not on auto fire. Very good fire discipline right there. You have a limited amount of ammo. 24 volleys in total times 4. That's what? 96 shots. And you don't want to waste them on mere spears, especially when they can possibly miss. Now, Imrik will be jumping onto the Bleak Swords. Great combination with the War Lions of Trades. With the anti-infantry charge damage, the Bleak Swords will get plowed by all these charge impact. But then Malekith is right behind. But then Imrik turns around and decided, you know what? Nope, I'm just not going to get into this fight. Especially with all the Koan Dread Knight. Well, with the Koan Dread Knights here, they shouldn't be that afraid of charges. Anyways, Koan Knights, Dark Riders trying to get... Koan Dread Knights, Dark Riders trying to get through the High Elf Spear line. But the Spear line is indeed quite staunch. So, not having the best luck here, especially with Dragon Princess plugging in the gaps. Over here, Dragon Princess rushing in as well, and they're doing some mighty charge damage against the Koan Dread Knights, who are debuffed by the Lord of Dragons, 0 melee attack and 20 melee defense. This is why Lord of Dragons is actually a really solid debuff. It's not only available on enemy characters, but also enemy units. So if you want to break a unit extremely fast, just pop yourself with Dragon Horn and then debuff your opponent's units with the Lord of Dragons, and they will just get shredded. But unfortunately, once the buffs and debuffs wears off, the Dragon Princes are suffering heavily with the armor-piercing damage, and Imrik being surrounded by Malekith and a bunch of Koan Dread Knights, they are suffering heavily. While the High Elves here are actually securing their position pretty well. Spears are outgrinding the Bleak Swords, and the heavily damaged Dragon Princess still has 3/4 of their unit models left, and there are more Illyrian Reavers flooding into the fray to stem the tide of Dark Elf push. Malekith blowing up some poor spears with a little bit of noxious gas lowering their melee attack and just massive impact damage with their breath attack. Archers still at the back showering enemy with arrows, but their lack of armor piercing does slow down their damage output. Malekith in the skies dropping in a Soul Stealer. He is taking some damage from Imrik, being a less powerful melee combatant than Imrik on his Star Dragon. He will indeed have more versatility in the form of self-healing and also just draining enemy health here. Especially War Lions, they have high unit model count, low unit model count, so high individual HP on each model, so will be taking more damage from Soul Stealer. While in the skies, Imrik is running low on HP as he is slowly approaching his healing cap. Being surrounded by a lot of armor piercing and being hit by Malekith himself is not exactly the most enjoyable time for the Dragon Prince. Balance of power is in the favor of the Dark Elves as the High Elf army is slowly running out of steam. Their spear units are slowly being ground down. More Dragon Breath attacks destroying this unit of Dragon Princes. Very effective stuff right there. The other cavalry are also suffering from massive damage. The Dragon Princes are doing their best, but the Bleak Swords are holding, especially with the Murderous Prowess activated to give them a bit of a leadership buff, helping them holding on even longer. And with Scourge Rider Chariots charging in and Malekith diving down, everything here is overwhelmed, and that pocket of High Elf forces is basically lost. Some of the Dragon Princes managed to pull back over here where the archers have established a firing position, but with no more melee troops to stop the charge, the Scourge Runner Chariots are free to plow into the archers and they will be ran down. Now, the chariots still have issues pushing through enemy infantry, but it's just archers, let's face it. They're not going to pose much threat. Now, the bigger threat here are the Warlands here surrounding the Scourge Runners with their armor piercing, but another big Soul Stealer coming in, and everything here is hit other than these Warlands, for some reason, are not hit, despite being inside the Soul Stealer area of effect. But nonetheless, they're still going to get screwed pretty badly and by all these overwhelming force of High Elves, of Dark Elves, and Dark Elves shall be finishing off the remaining High Elf units. Imric is still fighting valiantly. Dragon Princes are charging to support, but very unfortunately, not even the healing can really help them in here. Wait, balance of power is still even. How? Okay, Malekith is low, so that's probably why, but okay. But I don't know. I feel like the Scourge Runners alone can snipe out Imric himself. But, wow. Malekith really took a lot of damage in that melee engagement for some reason. But then the Breath Attack should be able to finish things off quite nicely. Imric is low on health, being surrounded by enemy units. Balance of power is in the favor of the Dark Elves. And, yeah, everything shall be overwhelmed. Warlands are still fighting though, and they have been pretty solid so far. Getting back their cost, actually. So, pretty solid stuff. Archers are firing. They definitely had a hand in breaking a lot of these Dark Elf units, but there's nothing to save them. Malekith is slowly grabbing back some health, just robbing the HP away from Malekith, and there goes robbing the HP away from Imric. And there goes Imric and his... I forgot how to pronounce the dragon's name. So yeah, Imric and his dragon gone lying dead on the ground. That leaves the Life Mage to hold up the balance of power, but then she's gonna be gone as well. And let's look at the battlefield. Everything's left over here are the archers, who will probably be ran down by a bunch of Dread Knights. The Dread Knights, high leadership and high melee stats, definitely paying off in this battle here. And the archers will be gone. Warlands losing, not doing that much damage over the course of battle. Army losses has been hit as well. And that's the first battle between Phoenix King and Black Knight. And I totally forgot to save strat games and yeah, to save strat games versus Black's battle. Oh well, anyways, army performances. Dark Elf Bleak Swords doing okay, almost recovering their cost really. And the Hellabron and I also did some solid work here, but mostly is Dread Knights didn't do that much. They actually suffered heavily at the hands of the Dragon Princes. It's really just Malekith carrying the day again. 4,400 gold worth of damage value. What the fuck? That's like 1/3 of the entire High Elf army. Well, of course there is some inflated damage from the healing, but still, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah, Soul Stealer still OP as usual, man. As for the High Elves, Imric did some solid damage as well, but the two Meta Lords, one is obviously not as OP as the other one, as you can see from the damage value, and Imric unfortunately has lost in this duel. Dragon Princes did some okay damage, not great, around half of their cost. War Lions, one of them did some very solid damage, the other one not so much. And the rest of the army, Spears did alright, and Archers did some cost-efficient damage against the Dread Knights and Malekith himself. But unfortunately, just Malekith health drain, healing, and then the Heavy Dread Knights crushing the High Elf defenses, running down the Archers and all that. So, pretty sad times for the High Elves indeed. Good old War Lions. Indeed, they're pretty good. GG to both players. Jaima, maybe we can cast it at some point today, but I can't guarantee for sure.
Honestly, I can't guarantee anything about casting everything today. Maybe I will cast it in like a heavy. Maybe I'll cast it in a battle replay, but I don't know. Anyways, second match, boys. Oh, Jaima sent me the replay. I guess I can download it and cast it at some point in the future. Let me just mark everything. Okay, replays here. Okay. Oh, I still have to do dishes after the midnight snack. No repeat bans for game 3. Okay. Let's see. Live streaming. Now Warlands has 1,400 mass. Wait, that's almost as heavy as a cavalry at that point. So yeah, this should be pretty damn good, especially when you need high mass for more impact damage. Chayama, yep. Guess you're also in the European time zone. Wait, are you in the UK as well? I mean, or somewhere around Scotland or something. Or, well, Scotland is UK, I guess, but yeah. Or Ireland or something. Because that's basically my time zone, so. Huh. Oh. Alright, what are the picks and bans? Phoenix King, Black. Oh, Pizza State. Wait, it's 3 a.m. in Pizza State right now? What? Now, there are two types of Pizza State. The shitty Pizza State or the amazing Pizza State. Oh, that Pizza State. Yep. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Yep. That's 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. Oof. That's rough, man. You should go to bed. I mean, I appreciate you staying up and watching my stream, and I really love to have that viewer count. But for the sake of your health, probably sleeping would be a better pick. Especially you have been playing some intense games. But anyways, that's enough for me blabbling about judging people's lifestyle. I need an army pick. I need an army pick right now. What's your next picks then? The Phoenix King. I'm in whatever Germany is known for state. Well, that's beer and sausage state. So there you go. You got it. And it's 4 a.m. too. Okay, cool. We have picks and bans. Bretonnian Empire and Warriors of Chaos for Black, and banning Dwarfs, Dwarves, and Grand Cathay. Good. We have something. Oof. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Germany is known for a lot too, and the time is similarly late. Gemma, now when I'm dead, I will have a lot of time to sleep. That is if you're not resurrected by a freaking necromancer. And anyone who knows, in the Warhammer universe, death is not the end. The 40k or fantasy, death is not the end. And you get properly fucked. Oh god. Oh god, I got a paper cut on my hand for some reason. Okay. That's awkward. How did that happen? Okay, never mind. Let's see, Bretonnian, Empire, Warriors of Chaos Band, yeah. And let's see what Phoenix King is going for afterwards. What? That's probably not a paper cut. I probably cut my hands a bit when I'm making food. The vegetable soup, possibly? I don't even know. Maybe it's a paper cut. Anyways. Sorry for that digression. If I can choose, I prefer to be a blood dragon. Let's face it, 99.99999% of us will be resurrected as a zombie or a skeleton. Maybe, if we're lucky, we can make our way into a graveguard. But, mostly that. Or possibly ghouls. With hair, please, CA, bring them hair. Well, if you're a skeleton, you wouldn't need to worry about being having hair or not. Well, oh, but if you're very, very lucky and very unlucky, you'll be something like Manfred. Oh, Phoenix King is going for high elves this time. Is this a Bretonnian band then? This is very possibly a Bretonnian band. Grail Guardians might just be the bane of Dragon Princes. So yeah. Let's see. Ooh, we have a pretty good view count as well. 15, 16 viewers. Nice. Thanks for the support, guys. Also, I've not said this at the beginning of the stream, but thank you so much for everyone who have been watching my stuff and sending me stuff to make content with. Because we are indeed right now monetized the channel. It's been what, 2 years? Yeah, it's been over 2 years, and finally we're on 1,000 subscribers and a ton of views. I don't know what to say right now, actually, but yeah. Oh shit, I forgot about that part. Sorry about that. I'm actually not on the game itself and just looking at the chat from the YouTube studio. Yeah, sorry about that. My bad. German, but there are 2 high of noble, but so no one cheat. Honestly, I think that most people in the tournament scene is actually pretty solid in terms of the tournament etiquette, I suppose. Like, I mean, there are some particular players who are not that popular for the approach to the games, but so far, I mean, especially these kind of casual tournaments, right? There's no money on the line. Really, you're just winning for the clout and just to improve yourself. So it's very unlikely for players to cheat, I suppose. And Black and Phoenix King both have been like long-time players. I think I've seen their names in Warhammer 1 when I was still a puny viewer who has not made any content or something. So yeah, they're definitely not the types who would just peek and stream snipe people, but yeah, I'm just putting it up for more, just for fairness sake, I suppose. But yeah, it seems that they have jumped in. I mean, I'll show the army now since they're already starting. Yep, it is indeed Empire versus High Elves. And this is oof. What is this map? What the fuck? Okay, no, that's probably the battlefield, right? That's probably it. Anyways. We have to wait for the army to spawn, and once again, Phoenix King's army connection just doesn't. Wait, the Phoenix King started in 2019 with Warhammer 2 before Hunter and Beast DLC. Wait, what? Wait, I swear I've seen names. Oh, probably, yeah. 2019? Yeah, 2019. Wait, did you? What? What? I swear I saw like names in the community. That has been longer than that. What the fuck? My memory has been fucking with me. Sorry about that. Wait, who? I mean, Falcon's been there for forever. Some of the players have left. Saber's Regnum is definitely a new one. Wait, who? Well, Flying Tackle has been there for a while, I think. Yeah. Gobble King is definitely like, yeah, probably Gobble King. Although Gobble King has quit the game for like ever since Warhammer 3, where they started the whole domination shenanigans. So that was a lot of drama back then. Shit. Okay, now we're back onto the map with unit spawning. Okay, so army builds wise, both armies are trying to get set up here. We have a mixture of... Ooh, are these Sunmaker? Nope, this is just a regular Hellstorm. Why are you not bringing Sunmaker? They are so much better than regular Hellstorm. Come on. Ah, well. A mixture of spears and swords, as the Empire army just brings in a spam of state troops, a bunch of Empire Knights, and a lot of Empire Knights. Outriders, one of them, and a couple war wagons with their armor-piercing firepower, just to snipe out stuff like Imric. But, well, we can talk about the High Elf later. Calfran's leading the army, a Jade Wizard with Regrowth and Earthblood, and a single Hellstorm rocket battery, not the Sunmaker, which I think is a mistake, because you want the Sunmaker to dump out as much damage as possible against the enemy. Although... well, looking at the build, this might actually not be a mistake, because Sunmaker is more expensive, and Hellstorm I don't think is a good fit against this High Elf army. Like, there's so much cavalry here, very Phoenix King-like, with a couple Shadow Warriors in the front line, and a lot of Dragon Princes and Illyrian Reavers mixed in together for the mobility. There's a single Rahagra's Pride for the regiment of renowned armor-piercing anti-infantry and the leadership debuff, plus slow. Mage of Life coming in with also Regrowth and Earthblood, just a duel of healing, a fight of healers at this point, trying to buff up each other's champion. And for the champion of the High Elves, a Narian himself, the generic prince, or, well, dubbed by Phoenix King, a Narian. We have the generic prince on a Star Dragon with a Bane shield for extra armor and missile block chance, which can be quite useful against the war wagons. And then Deadly Onslaught, Stand Your Ground, a lot of buffs indeed. Blade of Bel Korhadris, I don't even know if I butchered the spelling or not, because I don't speak High Elf. Getting plus 24 melee attack and 25% more armor piercing weapon damage, really solid as a buffing item. So he can basically get plus 24 attack and 24 defense, getting up to what, 92 melee attack and 78 melee defense. That's a shit ton of stats. And Calfrans, even with Gal Miraz, I don't think have enough stats to punch through to outduel the Star Dragon Prince. Anyways, in the front line, we can see that Shadow Warriors will be approaching the Empires and possibly start firing. Actually, they need to get back because they will get run down by... get shot up by the war wagons. I thought the Empire Knights will push out to run them down, but it seems the
yeah, the counter-fire might be a bit much for them. Now, Sunmaker, no, not Sunmaker, Hellstorm are now dishing out damage against the spears, but with only regular Sunmaker, the firing rate is just not that good enough to destroy units. Sunmaker would delete half the spear at least in that single volley if they manage to hit, but unfortunately not the case here. Right now, War Wagons with 90 armor, even with 90 armor, they will still take heavy damage from the focus fire from all these Shadow Warriors, although with the Shadow Warriors busy firing at the War Wagons, that means the Hellstorm can start shooting at it. Also, they're probably trying to shoot the Shadow Warriors, but yeah, but unfortunately landing some collateral damage on the spears. Rhaegar's Pride charging for the Empire Knights. This one lone Empire Knight very unlucky being caught by a whole lot of High Elves, and he will be dead. Oh wait, no, he survived. Okay, he survived. Some friendly fire from the Hellstorm. Very unfortunate for the state troops here, but their lives will be sacrificed yet remembered. On the flanks, Illyrian Reavers and the Dragon Princes are wrapping around, getting ready to position themselves into a shooting position, into a charging position. All riders being shot by the Shadow Warriors and taking some heavy damage. In the front line, the charge has begun. Illyrian Reavers plus the Rhaegar's Pride are doing some massive impact damage on the Spearmen with shields. Karl Franz diving down trying to snipe out the Prince, but the Prince has activated Deadly Onslaught and the Blade. I'm not going to pronounce everything here. 833 weapon strength plus armor piercing. Ooh, things are looking rough for Karl Franz even with Galmaraz, as I said before. 92 attack, but just not as much melee defense. And not only that, the Dragon Prince, the Prince on a Star Dragon, does have a lot more HP than a Griffin, even if it is Deathclaw. So Karl Franz will be suffering heavily at the hands of the of Anarion. The War Wagons are trying to shoot down the High Elf troops, but unfortunately not enough burst damage here. Empire Knights will need to flood in to pin down Anarion, but at this point, Karl Franz have already suffered heavily at the hands of Karl Franz himself. The Prince also has enough melee defense to continue holding. Armor as well being buffed up by the Bane Shield will be reducing his damage taken from the Empire Knights. However, the Empire State Troops seems to be holding, allowing the Hellstorms to really dish out the pain against the Shadow Warriors. Some Empire Knights manage to get onto the Shadow Warriors, shutting down the other unit of Skirmish Cavalry. Dragon Princess running into the back of the Empire Knights here. And yeah, things are looking still fairly even in the middle here. With Anarion, well, first of all, Anarion didn't really receive any heals, so that's definitely something that the High Elves can take advantage of. But now, Anarion took a few big hits from Karl Franz and possibly some of the firepower of the focus fire from the double War Wagons, really taking the heavy toll on the Prince himself. He will probably need a healing soon, but can he get it? We'll see. Anyways, the longer he stays around, the more he gets hit by the War Wagon shots. Another Earthblood here just trying to top up Karl Franz, buying more time for the War Wagons to shoot, while the High Elf seems to be struggling to get into the backline of the Empire here. A lot of the Dragon Princes have pulled back, the Illyrian Reavers have been beaten back by the swarm of state troops, and there are really the only two mobility remaining are the two Dragon Princes, and they are now rushing towards the War Wagons here, who are doing substantial damage on the Dragon Prince himself, as in like the Star Dragon Prince, Anarion. Anyways, some regrouped Illyrian Reavers are now recharging Empire Knights, and Anarion needs to probably drop down here to rout them off, and he will exactly be doing so here. The Shadow Warriors might be decent in melee combat, but they won't be holding too long, so they need to really break apart these Empire Cavalry as soon as possible. While this one Dragon Prince alone here charging into the back here, pushing away the War Wagons, absorbing a lot of damage, but they themselves are now taking heavy casualties at the hands of Deathclaw and Karl Franz himself. Over here, Illyrian Reavers have been beaten back by the heavily armored Empire Knights. There are some Dragon Princes who are returning from routing possibly, and they will try to run down the Empire Knights, but Unfortunately, the accumulated damage from the Hellstorm rocket battery seems to be taking a heavy toll on the High Elf troops, and the heavy cavalry of the Empire Knights is presenting a really tough time for the High Elves to deal with. Inarian might be powerful, but he just doesn't have enough. Well, he can't be everywhere to stop the Empire Knights from running down his troops, right? So yeah, unfortunately, the High Elf numbers are just not enough to deal with the Empire threat right now. At least the War Wagons are running low on ammo, but they still have quite a few shots left, actually. Let's see. 13 shots on this one, 7 shots on these ones. So, yeah. Things are not looking great for the High Elves whatsoever. The Prince is almost at his heal cap, while Karl Franz is just receiving a regrowth here, refreshing his vigor and getting himself close to heal cap as well. While the back here, Dragon Princes are still fighting. They probably regrouped from a rout, and that would be a fatal mistake for the Hellstorm rocket battery here. Once and for all, finally being shut down by the Dragon Princes. The artillery from the High Elves are gone, so no more devastating anti-infantry damage, allowing the spears to hold on a little longer, but that's not going to help out the Prince, who is being focused down hard by all these War Wagons. Focused shot, point blank shot, taking a huge chunk of HP from the Star Dragon Prince, but he is indeed buffed up heavily by pretty much everything on himself. Stand your ground, Blade of Bel Corhadis, 92 attack, 78 melee defense, and also a bit of Earthblood earlier, and Karl Franz is gonna just getting absolutely ruined by the Star Dragon. Another hit and he shall be gone. Nope, missed set times. War Wagons will be charging in, sacrificing their lives to save Karl Franz, and more Empire Knights are rushing in as well, and I don't think the Prince have enough juice to kill everything here. His leadership is getting low. He needs to start fighting and beat back some of these close threats. At least some spears are here to stop them, to support him, but his leadership is running low. A lot of units on the far side are being chased off. These Dragon Princes, man, this is the second time them regrouping from a rout, but unfortunately they might not be enough. Unfortunately it might not be enough to run through all these state troops, but at least the Inarian is still fighting, getting a full Seeker, refreshing his vigor. Karl Franz on the far side barely clings on to leadership. So no leadership debuffs to the Empire troops just yet, as their lord is still present on the battlefield. Balance of power is against the High Elves indeed, but Inarian is doing some heavy work against all these Empire troops here. Dragon Princes charging in. Should do some nice impact damage, but everything here is so heavily armored, most of that damage will be mitigated. And especially more Empire Knights coming in, and the Dragon Princes will be sandwiched and will be killed. Spears are still fighting in the fray, but yeah, I don't see. Does the Breath of Tech works? Doing some pretty nice damage to the Empire Knights, but not quite enough to save the Dragon Princes. Probably should have waited a bit more and just blast this middle blob, but yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Oh, this might be a mistake here, sending Karl Franz too close to the Dragon Prince. One shot and he will be dead, and 1 HP, and he's still alive. What the fuck? 1 HP. Like one splash attack he will be dead, but no, Karl Franz is surviving at 1 HP. What the fuck? This is not, he does not have the refuse to tie. He is not the cohort of Sotek, and he is still surviving. Another hit miss from the Star Dragon Prince, but and Narian's HP drops and his leadership does not hold. Karl Franz survives on 1 HP, and whew, that was a close one. I almost thought Karl Franz would be dead and just, yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck? Karl Franz actually survived that one with 1 HP. Oh god, that was fun. That was a fun fight, yeah. Let me just save the replay, because I might have other use for this. What is...
There we go. So that means we are having a third game, boys. A best of 3 third game. Anyways, let's have a quick look at the army performances. 4,000 HP from Anarian. Definitely a solid performance, but the rest of his army didn't quite hit the mark there. Dragon Prince, this one did good, but the other one not so much. The infantry wise, they got overwhelmed by the state troops, including the Shadow Warriors, especially the Shadow Warriors. This one earned back their own value, but the other ones not so much. The Illyrian Reavers, unfortunately, High Elves just struggle against heavy cavalry, which the Empire has plenty of. Empire Knights all did pretty decently in terms of, most of them did pretty decently. These two not quite, but these two got a lot of damage value overall. State troops, decent performance. Some of them earned back their value, some of them did not. Hellstorm pretty much earned back their own value. I think they cost 1,100 anyways, so pretty decent. Calfrance carried his own weight, and War Wagons, they need a nerf, man. They need a nerf. Like, damn, they have so much damage potential. They shoot down everything in close proximity with their armor-piercing firepower, and it's really hard to kill them. So, oof, rough times. Rough times to go against these skirmishing war machines. Wait, no. Oh, wait, no. That's Phoenix King winning both times. Wait, no. Wait, what? Wait. Did I mix up again? And my brains... And my... did I mix up again? Oh. Fuck. Wait. Did I mix up again? And... okay, so... Yeah, the first game is... Phoenix King won with Dark Elves, right? And the second game, Empire won with Black. Why did Phoenix King disconnect? Wait, what? Hold on a second. Wait, what? Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, just Phoenix King accidentally quitting the lobby or something, I think. Okay, yeah, one last game between Phoenix King and Black. Let's go. I'm almost dead, and I still have a best of 3 to class in terms of replay. But either ways, we'll power through. Win Wagons, yeah. Win Wagons. Drama, too many units, dragon animation does stagger. Yeah, that's probably why. And also, the dragons have a massive hitbox, which means a lot of more units can come into contact with the model, which means the dragons will just get hit more often and just suffer more damage. But yeah, 1 HP with that. Calfron's chatting it through with 1 HP left in the end. Like, what the fuck was that? God. That was good. Yeah, some solid stuff right there. One last game between Black and Phoenix King. Wood Elves, Bretonnian, and Kislev banning Dwarfs, Chaos Dwarfs, and Skaven. Just banning all the short people, aren't you? That's a like height discrimination or something. I don't know. But anyways, we'll have to wait for Black to come in with a ban. All 3 of these are cavalry factions indeed, though, so... Wait. Phoenix King is doing the same thing again. Trying to get all 3 elves on the field. Okay. I feel like Phoenix King has just been, like, trying to spam elves in every single best of 3. And trying to get all 3 elves in all 3 games. Yeah, that's probably what he was doing. Yeah, Jaima, it is a 1 versus 1. I just don't know why Phoenix King left the lobby. But yeah, he's back here. I'm back here. Everyone's here. And we'll go for the one last game. And it seems it will be a Wood Elf versus Dark Elf battle. And we might see the queen. The new queen of the Dark Elves. I don't know. Dwarfs do everything dwarfs do, which actually isn't right. It might be controversial, but other than Slayers, everything that the dwarfs do, the dwarfs can do it, but possibly better. They have better guns in terms of fire glaives. They have better guns in short range in terms of blunderbusses. Definitely, blunderbusses are definitely better than goddamn Iron Drakes. More importantly, they actually have good cavalry. In terms of cheap cavalry, they have the hobgoblins, and then in terms of strong, powerful, elite heavy cavalry, they have the bull centaurs. So. I feel like Dwarfs is just in a rough spot because, like, in quick battle they still corner camp, they still box and all that, but those are not competitive strategies. They can be broken if you're prepared for it. And yeah. And Dwarfs don't have much options on the field other than trying to wait for people to come to you and get shot. So yeah, things are quite rough for the Dawi in the current meta. Yeah. Oh, Phoenix King. Phoenix King has his game crashed. Unfortunate, but as expected from CA. I mean, you only. That's about right for CA, really. Oh, and they have taller hat. To be fair, the Dawi have amazing, fabulous mohawks for the Slayers. So basically, we're saying that Slayers are the most unique and amazing thing of the Dwarfs. Yes, everything else is kind of eh. But Dwarfs don't have or bring the type of melee buffs Dawi bring, at least in my limited recent experience. Yep, that is definitely true. But while that is true, I don't think the Dwarves are that good in melee either. They just get shot up hard. Like, the best way to counter Dwarves is actually shoot them with artillery, and at that point, yeah, you don't really have that much advantage here. Like, you can really easily shoot up everything the Dwarves have with Sunmaker, and yes, the Dwarves will just suffer. Less short people in the army, yep, for sure. Yep, for sure for the Chaos Dwarves. And don't forget, they don't have short lords. Well, I mean, they do have short lords, but they don't need somebody else to hold them up. Like even the petrified lord, the Astrogoth, he can figure out something to help him walk himself instead of like getting somebody to hold him up. So, like, he's pretty solid, like, as a person, I guess. Instead of ordering some poor laborers to chuck him around, he can simply get a mech himself. Just pilot a mecha or an exoskeleton, in terms of size. But yeah, self-sufficient, I would say that. How do you shoot up dwarves though if you solely and only play high elves? Yeah, 2 bolters and 4 archers would work. And honestly, against dwarves, you just spam white lions and you should be fine. White lions and perhaps Emmerich to cut through them. I don't know. And we wait again. Classic Phoenix King and his internet. If go rush with Chariot if map is short. Chariot still have their issues right now. They don't easily pull out of combat, so things are pretty rough for Chariot still. But oh well. Wait, shit. Did I crash? Black crash? Well. Don't take chariots. Yeah, don't take chariots. Chariots sucks. They still suck, unfortunately. They probably... Did they implement the wrong patch? Because I'm still seeing the flying bug. Chariots still suck. A lot of stuff still stuck. Stats got better, but a lot of mechanics are kind of like iffy. Okay. Black has host. Oh, it seems that Phoenix King PC crashed again. Ah, well. Well, we know that. Who are we supposed to find, I suppose? That's a massive name on top. Okay, I think I'm gonna stream until like what, 4, 5 in the morning now. Oof, things are rough. Everyone load up your build from previously, and we'll go in straight in. It's half 3 right now, and we still have a best of 3 plus another game which we're gonna cast right now. Both armies are hopefully the same. I trust these players enough, so whatever. Army builds. Wood Elves going pretty infantry heavy. 3 war dances, 4 dryads, and now for mobility, 2 wild riders, 1 stag knight, and a single glade rider. Spellweaver of Life coming in with regrowth and earth blood. I'm calling it, and we're waiting for stuff to load. And Dark Elves are going wide as well, but we don't have the units on the field, so we can't see shit, unfortunately. Come on. Alright, we wait. Alright, Phoenix King does have a point here. In game 2, our unit sizes are smaller, so chariots are stuck less. Chariots get stuck less easy. And infantry also got knocked over harder, but yeah. Don't you feel like our archers are hopelessly outmatched by shielded armored rangers? They're hopelessly outmatched by plus 20 range. That's one way to say that. Why should stun these when you can just roll them in melee? But you can't roll them in melee with chariots. That's the problem here, Black Knight. Anyways, army builds. We talked about the Spellweaver. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm wrong. There's no regrowth, but only flesh to stone here to stack with the physical resistances on the war dances and the wild riders. Pretty solid stuff overall. Interesting. And wait, this is an entire army of physical resistance outside of the Starfire Shafts and the Spellweaver herself. So a lot of physical resistance stacking over here. I wish there would have been some I wish there would have been some... Shit, what are they called again? I'm tired and I can't remember the names. Of, Tzeentch, yeah. Tzeentch on... If there's Tzeentch, it will be fun, because it will be like a ton of physical resistance spam, but we're not seeing them here, because we have a lot of Dark Riders and Koan Knights mixed in together. In the skies, Feral Manticore plus Harpies, and more Harpies, more Feral Manticore. Just very cheap terror and mobility in general. And then a front line of Bleak Swords mixed in with Dread Spears. Standard stuff. And in the skies, the so-called new queen of Dark Elves. Supreme Sorceress of Dark, coming in with Opal, Amulet, and Soul Stealer. Black Knight just messaged me like before the match. Before the Blast of 3, telling me the Supreme Sorceress on a dragon with Soul Stealer is indeed the new queen, with only 1900 cost, while Malekith will be costing 2600 gold. So yeah, in terms of cost, definitely much more efficient, but we'll see how the combat performance is this Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic in melee, because, well,
the melee stats are not as good, and she also doesn't have Gaze of Malice, but probably that bit of stat increase and the Gaze of Malice is not good enough to guarantee such a that much of a price increase is way too much for minor stat increase and the Gaze of Malice, I suppose, but we'll see how the Supreme Sorceress perform in this meta. I've heard good things about her because how cost efficient she is, but we'll see. Anyways, the Dryad frontline should crump the Dark Elf frontline just fine, so a lot of heavy lifting will be on the Supreme Sorceress for the Soul Stealers, and also a whole lot of the Dark Elf mobility will need to like crunch a lot of the Wood Elf units, which shouldn't be that hard since the Dryads and War Dancers are kind of glass cannony. Glade Gods will be holding back, being protected by a lot of these Glade Riders, Wild Riders and whatnot, while the Dryads and War Dancers will be pushing up, trying to blend through the Dark Elf infantry. They should be able to do that just fine with their aggressive stats, especially with Frenzy and... No Frenzy, never mind. Especially with the nice stats, 60 armor, high melee attack on the Dryads, anti-infantry bonus on the War Dancers. This should be just fine. I do think that the War Dancers should turn on their Shadow's Coil, buffing just to buff up their melee defense, and since they have enough melee attack to blend through big swords with their bonus versus infantry. But anyways, War Dancers should cut through the Bleak Swords just fine, although they themselves are taking quite a bit of damage from the Bleak Swords. Breath attack on the Wild Riders, but not a lot of damage. The Supreme Sorceress even would dive in, but she is taking some noticeable damage from all the Starfire shafts, and the Double Manticore will be chasing after Spellweaver. A lot of mobility is engaging here right now. Glade Riders and Wild Riders are trying to stem the tide of Dark Riders here, but they are taking massive damage, especially when drained by the Soul Stealer. Spellweaver very likely not being hit by the Soul Stealer, and the Great Stacks are now coming in to surround the Supreme Sorceress of Dark, who is also being surrounded by Dryads and unable to extract herself into disguise. Now over here, Glade Gods shooting at the Supreme Sorceress, putting her on fire, making sure she doesn't receive as much healing from the Soul Stealer. And on the far side, as I expected, Dryads and War Dancers blending through the Dark Elf infantry. Now the Supreme Sorceress of Dark Magic is in a bit of trouble here, being shot by armor-piercing fire and being drained and being chased by some Wood Elf mobility. Lowest Basting is dropped onto the Wild Riders with shields, giving them a speed boost and helping them to maneuver between engagements faster. Dryads pushing forward should be able to like drag down some Dark Riders in the fight, while the Supreme Sorcerers will be dive bombing the Glade Gods with Starfire shafts, although while managing to shut down one unit and two unit over here, the second unit being shut down by the Crows of Cain. Some of these Starfire shafts were still able to fire on the Supreme Sorceress, and she has taken massive damage throughout the course of combat. Throw Manticore trying to tie down the other unit of Glade Gods in melee combat. Wait, what the fuck was... Oh man, that was a complete miscast of the Breath attack here. Possibly trying to aim for the Spellweaver of Life, but completely missing, wasting a whole Breath attack. Now down to one Breath attack, really needs to ration those special abilities. Now balance of power though is dominantly against the Dark Elves right now because of how low the Supreme Sorceress is. Another Soul Stealer is dropped into the fray here, draining the health of a lot of these Wood Elf unit, but it was previously countered by an Earthblood. The Feral Manticore has been rampage diving into this blob here, but unfortunately they just can't do much here. With only 45 armor, it will take massive damage from all the aggressive attacks from the Great Stag Knights, the Wild Riders and the Dryads, while on the far side the Glade Gods with Starfire Shafts are still fighting. They're not even worked down that much by the Sorceress of Dark. Opal Amulet is on to reduce incoming damage, but that's not going to help her by a whole lot. While War Dancers will be moving in, and all these Bleak Swords will be facing a gruesome death, being blended down by all the dual sword units. And I do think that these war dancers have great animation, really. They actually spin around and dance a little ballet when they fight. Not exactly ballet, but they dance. So you get the gist here. On the far side, with the combination of Supreme Sorceress, the Crows of Cain, and the Feral Manticore, the Dark Elves attempted to rout off these Wild Riders, but while they succeeded in doing so, the army losses is hit as well, and they will be done for this game. And with that, Phoenix King shall be proclaiming victory as the triple elf player in this battle, in this best of threes. And yeah, army performances wise, I need to give me a second. I need to save the replays. We'll talk about army performances quickly afterwards, but let's just save the replays first. Yep, there we go. GG to both players here. Very solid performance from both players. Some back and forth games, and that 1 HP Karl Franz, that was some clutch shit right there. I still can't get over it, but yeah. In this battle, though, the Wood Elves do have a major advantage over the Dark Elf infantry. And while the Dark Elf infantry cannot stand against the Wood Elf rush, the mobility here is also quite lacking. With only 2 Koan Knights and 3 Dark Riders, they were no match for the Glade Riders, Wild Riders, and Great Stack Knights. And with the Dryads even engaging into the Dark Riders, unfortunately, there's just not enough armor on the Dark Riders to hold themselves. This build is definitely more designed to deal with a kiting Wood Elf army, but unfortunately, Phoenix King go on an almost full-on melee rush with the Wood Elves here. So the Dark Riders didn't really have a place they belong, an engagement they can fight in. And let's see. Spellweaver did some okay damage for a spellcaster, but mostly there for the healing. Stag Knights, Wild Riders did some solid damage. War Dancers, they can cut down Dark Elf infantry for days. As for the Starfire Shafts, these two did a lot of damage to the Dark Sorceress, Dark Supreme Sorceress, while the Dryads did some pretty solid damage overall. For the Dark Elves, Supreme Sorceress almost earned back their own cost, but just not quite enough to carry the game. Not having the same kind of melee prowess as Malekith, really. Feral Manticore did some nice damage on this one, the other one not so much. Crows of Cain and the Harpies shut down some of the Starfire Shafts, but a bit too late in that terms. Koan Knights did almost nothing, unfortunately, here. Yeah, they're just not that good for some reason. I don't know. I don't usually play Dark Elf, so I'm not sure about the Koan meta. Dark Riders did some very minor damage, not much out really, because all they can do is charge charge the Starfire Shafts, but unfortunately there's just such a wide Wood Elf army, they were not quite able to do that. Bleak Swords did decently, actually not decently. They trade horribly against War Dancers and Dryads. So that's about it for this best of 3. Congratulations to Phoenix King for winning this tournament. Black Knight also had a great performance overall. And also GG to all the players who have participated in the tournament. Now let us move on to the one final best of 3 we're casting here. We're not just done with the night just yet, because the European time zones also had their best of 3. And it's a full-on 3 games here. So let's go. We're not, the night is not young, but yeah, we're moving on. We still have more games. So army builds wise, Phoenix King versus Saber's Ragnum. Phoenix King going for Slaanesh and Saber's Ragnum going for the Dwarfs. Saber's Ragnum going for his very classic combination of Floric on his toilet seat plus Felix and Gotrek. Going for a full box build with a box created by a bunch of miners with blasting charges. Not a bad idea to thin out the Slaanesh infantry, and then a couple iron breakers for even more blasting charges. I do find that Saber's Ragnum's defensive geometry to be quite an interesting thing to watch, because
always, I know he brings the more meta build and relies heavily on the strong units, but I do find that he put a lot of effort into creating a unique formation that often has very strong effectiveness. And as you can see here, he is tightening up this dwarf box, this dwarf explosive box right here, and yeah, even the Lash of Slaanesh, the main spell to dish out damage against enemy formations, is not doing much here. Although that's partly because there's no Slashing Sing shards, but there's that. Anyways, Seekers of Slaanesh from the Slaanesh side, a lot of armor piercing. Also Chaos Furies with their armor piercing, the Slaanesh Furies. Devoted Marauders and Bringers of Beguilement and some Daemonists of Slaanesh, leading the army, and Kari himself. But you can see that the charge, although doing some good damage to the miners with blasting charges, the dwarves are holding. But that did bait out the rune of that did bait out the rune of oh shit, Thoric is out of position. Anyways, what the fuck? Anyways, the rune of anyways, I forgot the name of Thoric's rune again. Yeah, Rune of Doom is popped, so there's no melee buffs to the Dwarf infantry. Blasting charges were chucked into the Marauders, doing some massive damage, routing one of them. But a lot of blasting charges are reserved from the Iron Breakers here. Probably they need to start chugging into the Bringers of Beguilement, but the Furies are there to disrupt. And, well, they actually managed to chuck out a devastating volley into the Bringers of Beguilement here, doing some massive damage against them. Iron Breakers at the back here holding the box and will be protecting themselves. And will be protecting the flanks here. Chaos Furies try to drop in and silence and just chip away the health of the Iron Breakers, but they are quickly overwhelmed. While Thoric here being hit hard by Ankari himself, but also hitting back hard against Ankari. Now Bringers of Beguilement here rampaging a lot of these dwarf units, forcing them into this engagement, while at the back here, more explosive charges are chucked into the Daemonists, although these Daemonists manage to get in. Nope, they're not managing to get in anywhere, as the Miners and Iron Breakers are here to hold them back. While the Bringers of Beguilement has been hit hard, and even Thoric has shrugged off the rampaging effect. And with the high melee defenses of the Iron Breakers and the magic attacks of the Slayers, the Bringers of Beguilement are slowly worked down indeed. There's still a valiant cycle charging from all the Seekers, but they're not doing enough damage right now. Balance of Power is heavily against the Slaanesh army's favor, as Ankari is trying to rout off miners and all that to get that heal. But he's not going to get that because it requires complete destruction of a unit to get that heal. Anyways, nobody has the time to chase off some routed miners, really. Anyways, Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh coming in, but just ate a huge wave of blasting charges, and they will soon be reduced to ashes. Speaking of reducing to ashes, the Seekers, one unit just disappeared, faded into the warp, and there goes the unit. And Ankari's still not getting his heal. Yeah, nobody got the time to destroy miners. Anyways, over here, Daemonists are still fighting valiantly, getting quite a lot of kills, but not enough to recover their own cost. Especially with the heavy melee defenses of the Iron Breakers here. 66 melee defense. Not even the Daemonists can easily punch it through, but Hysterical Frenzy does give them a plus 40 melee attack, and they should trade much more cost efficiently against the Iron Breakers. But then they are running low in health, so yeah, things are not looking great for the Daemonists, and they will be fading into the warp. Army losses will soon hit, and there goes the Slaanesh army. The box of explosions will indeed hold and survive the day. The first game will be going to Saber's Regnum. Oh hey, CoolUmbrella, the end is indeed a victory of Phoenix King. The Wood Elf prevailed against the Dark Elves, and the Dark Elves got melee rushed hard by the combination of Dryads and War Dances. a pretty interesting build for sure, because we don't see any missile kiting. Anyways, army performances for this matchup. Slaanesh got hit hard in terms of blasting charges. The bringers of no one really, no infantry managed to recover their value so far. The Seekers also took massive damage, as every time they charge in, they just get hacked down by the Dwarf axes. Furies, no good target to silence. This was probably a build prepared for like a more missile heavy Dwarf build, but then the Dwarf just bring an explosive box, and well, the Slaanesh army couldn't do much about it. Enkari does some good damage, but not enough to recover his cost, because he is indeed a very, very expensive lord. Definitely costing over 3k if you want to bring some items and magic. For the Dwarf army, Floric did some solid damage with the rune of Ruin, yeah, the explosion rune. Anyways, Thoric and Gotrek not doing much here. Gotrek did some nice damage, but most of the heavy lifting were done. Gremlins Ironbreaker always a solid unit. I really love these guys, but I haven't played Dwarfs in a while. 1,200 gold worth of damage value. The Miners did some pretty nasty damage against the Marauders and some of the Daemonettes, while the Slayers got some really solid damage, cutting down the lightly armored Slaanesh cavalry. And even if they're not cavalry, the Slayers still have enough stats to trade against stuff like Chaos Furies and Devoted Marauders, while especially these are sword Marauders. So yeah, no poison and no special things. Definitely no bonus versus infantry, since they got removed in the current patch. Hammers did some solid damage as well, and still got a lot of steam to give. And yeah, there goes the first battle between Phoenix King and Saber's Regnum. We'll be going into the second battle, which is Wood Elves versus Dark Elves. This is pretty much a similar build, but we'll watch it in fast forward, since Saber's Regnum is definitely preparing to do a bit of a rush build. The Phoenix King needed to Psycho Charge more here. No, I don't think Psycho Charge would help, because the Dwarfs, I mean, they might, but I don't think the Psycho Charge would help, because the Dwarfs hold, there's too much melee defense in this build and too much explosions. So every time the Glass Cannon Slaanesh unit charges in, they would just lose a lot of models and not doing a lot of damage. Slicing Shards would definitely be a better call here, CoolUmbrella. Yep, take an AoE spell. Slicing Shards would definitely just ruin the entire box in a great hurry. Oh, CoolUmbrella, swap out Gotrek for an engineer to restock the Ironbreakers. That would be nasty. That's why I love the engineer for a long time, just because I can top up explosions with it. But I rarely use it to top up actual missile troops. I just use it to top up explosives. And just blast units with it. So that was pretty fun. Anyways, army builds, the same anti-Dark Elf build Phoenix King has filled it earlier. A mixture of Dryads and War Dancers in the front line, 3 Glade Gods with Starfire Shafts, 2 Wild Riders, Stag Knight, and a Glade Rider leading the army, a Spellweaver of Life with Flesh to Stone Earthblood, and Loex Blessing. In the Dark Elf side, a mixture of Dread Spears and Bleak Swords for the no Bleak Swords. Anyways, Dread Spears and Black Ark Corsairs as infantry, mobility, Dark Riders, and in the skies, a Crows of Cain, supported by a couple Feral Manticore, leading the army. Well, Malus Darkblade on his Cold One. Spiked. That's the one, yep. And no Cold One Knights, but a lot of Doomfire Warlocks all the way at the back, ready to flank around, and they should trade okay against stuff like Wild Riders, using their magic attacks and poison. But we'll see how it actually goes. Now, Glade Gods do fire first, and they'll be shooting at the Black Ark Corsairs. Yeah, the armor piercing would be pretty decent against the heavily armored Black Ark Corsairs, although the Black Ark Corsairs should do some nice damage against the War Dancers. But the Wild Riders charging in, and nice impact damage plowing through the Black Ark Corsairs, but then the Dark Riders are rushing in, so the Wild Riders will be pulling back. And more
more Wood Elf cavalry are rushing in, although these Glade Riders are quickly routed by a countercharge from the Dark Riders. A nice burning head roasting a whole lot of Wood Elf infantry, including some of these War Dancers. The only saving grace is that they do not have, the only saving grace is that they do not have a dense formation, so the damage isn't as substantial as it could have been. At the back here, Doomfire Warlocks trying to overwhelm the Wood Elf back line here. A Doom Bolt unfortunately hitting one of their own Doomfire Warlocks when they're trying to aim at the Wild Riders. And the Doomfire Warlocks are not actually making that much headway. Did they put a Word of Pain here? They didn't put a Word of Pain on the Wild Riders, which I think, they did put a Slow Blight, so there's that. And Feral Manticore jumping in, trying to silence the Starfire Shaft Glade. Yeah, Starfire Shaft. While the Wood Elf front line is still proved to be superior, beating back Black Arc Corsairs and Dread Spears, and another Burning Head coming in, but I don't think that will be too substantial here. Roasting the Wild Riders for sure, debuffing their leadership. Actually, that might just be enough to break the Wild Riders, and there goes the Wood Elf cavalry. But there's still a lot of Stag Knights here, almost full health indeed, and the Feral Manticore is not gonna like it. Dryads are still surviving, and the Wood Elves do indeed have a superior presence in infantry, but the Wood Elves do have to be careful. Malice Darkblade is still on the run, still almost full health, and still have plenty to give for his heal cap. We don't even see him losing much HP here. Full health. Okay, finally losing some HP, but quickly regenerating back. There are two Feral Manticores here, but they should be able to get focused down by the Wild Riders and Starfire Shafts pretty easily. And the Spellweaver will be approaching the Sorceress of Fire, trying to dumpster it in melee combat. And with the Great Eagle, it might actually be possible. Now at the back here, Glade Guards being rescued by a bunch of Wild Riders here who have pushed off some of these Black Arc Corsairs and try to push off the Crows of Cain as well. All that's left on the Dark Elf army, really, the 4 single entities here. Malice Darkblade trying hard to fight back, and in trying hard he is indeed charging straight into Dryads and just trying to cut them down. While at the back here, Feral Manticore feasting on the poor Glade Gods, doing some pretty solid damage, but unfortunately there's just a lot of units surrounding them, so they need to pull back out. Malice Darkblade is charging forward, but yeah, let us fast forward here. Feral Manticore trying to break the War Dancers, not quite successful. Wild Riders with shields, and War Dancers trying to surround and hit up Malice Darkblade, but that just gives a clear target for the Burning Head here. A homing beacon for the spell, roasted quite a bit of the War Dancers, but then the Fire Sorceress got tangled upon in melee and quickly sniped out by a combination of Cavalry and Lord. And with that, there's not much presence for the Dark Elves on the board. The Feral Manticore, this one still trying to shut down the Wood Elf missiles, but the other one just got escorted off the battlefield by the Spellweaver herself. So all that's left is basically one Manticore and one Malice Darkblade on Spite. Although things are not looking too great for the Wood Elves either. A lot of their units are extremely tattered, so they're just sitting back, allowing the Spellweaver to top everything up with Earthblood. While Malice Darkblade trying to pressure the Wood Elf army, charging straight into the War Dances, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a good engagement here against a lot of infantry. In the skies, the Spellweaver will try to duel the Feral Manticore. Not exactly sure if it's a good idea, since the Feral Manticore does have much better weapon strength than the Spellweaver of Life, and yeah, well, it can do some nasty damage, but it seems that the Spellweaver doesn't even have better melee stats, so things are looking rough. Anyways, Malice Darkblade here is still surrounded by a lot of infantry still being hacked down, but his heal cap is getting close, but he shall be transforming soon before army losses actually hits. And yeah. Oh wait, no, he's just using the blood price to like sustain his HP with a bit of damage resistance. Anyways, he'll be charging in, trying to find fight wherever he can, while he's doing an early transformation here, but now surrounded by armor-piercing Stag Knights, things are not looking too great for him. A little bit of Flesh to Stone trying to provide more resistance to these great stack knights against damage, and Malice Darkblade in the Dark Hand mode doesn't do magic damage, and this might be actually a good call, mitigating a lot of that damage from the devastating attacks of Dark Hand. On the far side, the Feral Manticore is being escorted away from the battlefield by the Spellweaver of Life here, for some reason rampaging in routing, while Malice Darkblade is slowly getting worked down by these powerful stack knights. They are indeed a very majestic creature here, and yeah, definitely better than a Raptor in my opinion. But anyways, Malice Darkblade, all he can do is try to find the closest unit to fight and start blasting away with all kinds of abilities, and yeah, Malice Darkblade is slowly worked down, so we'll just fast forward here as he is fighting a whole lot of Dryads here. Actually, Dark Hand is slowly being worked down. Anyways, his health is slowly draining. He's fighting and regenerating, slowing down that health loss, but unfortunately that cannot goes on forever. He tries to fight the cavalry who are cycle charging him, but very nice micro from Phoenix King here, pulling back before the ability actually got activated and avoiding all those extra damage. And now these Wood Elf cavalry are just bunching up on top of Malice, and they're not even cycle charging that much, trying to slowly grind him down in melee combat, which, as you can see, is quite successful in the end. Another tournament Monday if anyone wants to get a good scrap in. CoolUmbrella, actually, feel free to put an at everyone on my channel to promote your tournament. If you don't do it, I'll do it myself. So just want to get more people playing. I'm not sure what I can play on Monday, but we'll see what happens here. Phoenix King, useful in fact in Loic's Blessing. With the speed buff, elite cavalry likes Wild Riders can catch Cheese Runners while also being hidden, and therefore not taking fire from these. Oh shit, that's actually a pretty neat fact. I should use it more then. Interesting. Anyways, army performances. Stack Knights did amazing here, surrounding Zarkan and Malice and beating them down. Wild Riders did some solid damage as well. This one almost not quite managing to earn back their own value. War Dancers plowing through the Dark Elf front line as expected. They did some pretty solid damage. Glade Gods with Starfire Shafts, not a lot of good targets to shoot at, so very limited damage here. The most expensive thing they can shoot at are probably the Doomfire Warlocks and the Feral Manticore, and that's it. I mean, that's outside of the characters, but still, yeah. They got overwhelmed pretty hard by the mobility here. Doomfire Warlocks, the Feral Manticore, and all that, but they still managed to chip away the health of Malice Darkblade, though, so there's that, I suppose. Wait, no, they didn't shoot Malice Darkblade, right? I don't know. Shit, my memories are like failing now. Let's start. Yeah, they definitely shot up. They definitely shoot up quite heavily. But yeah, the Glade Gods with Starfire Shafts definitely got pressured heavy in the early game, so not surprising they didn't get much damage. Zarkan / Malice, amazing damage value, as always would be expected from him. The Sorceress of Fire using the Burning Head, incinerating a lot of the Wood Elf infantry, especially all of them relying on their physical resistance. Harpies, the Crows of Cain did well, dragging down all those Glade Riders, and Feral Manticore did meh damage. Oh, actually managed to recover their own cost, so pretty decent, I suppose. Both of them actually managed to do some pretty decent job. Unfortunately though, the Bleak Swords, Dread Spears front line does not hold up to Dryads and War Dancers, and they just got breached pretty fast. Doomfire Warlocks also don't exactly have the greatest time here, very contrary to my expectation. I thought their physical resistance would trade well against the Wild Riders, but I forgot that there's a bunch of Dryads here using magic attacks, and their attacks, yeah, their attacks are magic damage. They can do some nice stuff against Wild Riders and whatnot, but yikes. Yeah.
Their physical resistance does help them tank a little bit longer against the Wild Riders. Anyways, I should start moving on to the final battle and call it a night, a day, a morning now. It's 4 in the morning. Shit. Shit. Give me a second. Okay. Final battle. Hydrate myself, get some water done, and I'll quickly hydrate myself. And the final battle. The final best of 3 of the night, or the first best of 3 of the night, since it was played before the NA time zone after all. High Elves versus Ogres. And Ogres are going heavy on the Crushers with a little bit of Snowhorn of Morn and a lot of Nobblers, plus a bit of healing. While the High Elves are going heavy on the kiting. So we'll see what happens here. And it's gonna be a Mage of Metal with Souls. No. Why am I saying Soul Stealer? No. Plague of Rust and Final Transmutation. Also a build that I'm pretty sure Phoenix King mentioned to me before that counters the Ogre Kingdoms. And we'll see what happens here. There are indeed 4 units of Ellerin Reaver Archers, one of them the Heralds of the Wind, which has 100 speed. The fastest cavalry in the game, or one of the fastest. The same or almost the same as Hellstriders. I forgot what exactly the speed of the Hellstrider are, but these guys are fast, 105 speed. Anyways, a bunch of Ellerin Reavers, a lot of Ellerin Reavers and Silver Helms actually, trying to go as wide as possible with their mobility, so that if synergized with the Plague of Rust, they can just crump any kind of Crushers in a single charge, alongside with the help of the Ellerin Reaver Archers Crossfire, who are now shooting at Nobblers. Not the most cost-efficient use of their ammo, but it is what it is, I suppose. Spears pushing forward, and they should be able to drag down the Ogres in melee combat. Now anyways, at the front line, the Nobbler Trappers are setting up ready to shoot, while the Lead Belchers are trying to get themselves in range to open fire at the Heralds of the Wind. And some of these Ellerin Reaver Archers, as you can see, they are taking some minor damage. Possibly from the shots of the Lead Belchers, I'm not sure. But yeah, they are taking some damage. While the Crushers, all these Crushers are just stationed at the back here, readying to countercharge and all that. While the Reavers are just closing in. And Saber's Regnum not pushing hard, to just trying to use the Snowhorn of Morn to absorb as much damage from, as much ammo from the Ellerin Reavers as possible. Same goes for the Crushers here, just sitting there trying to eat the damage, so that less shots will be going into the Lead Belchers and all that. Anyways, army builds for the Ogres. Front line of Nobblers mixed in with Nobbler Trappers, 3 Crushers, one of them the Sky Striders, and then there's a Snowhorn of Morn. Heralds of the Wind, no, not Heralds of the Wind, they're like the Ogre, they're not the Ogre units. More Nobblers at the back here, leading the army, a Slaughtermaster with only Troll Guts. So the Lead Belchers, there's only 1 unit of them, and they can't really deal with all the skirmishing fire from the Ellerin Reaver Archers. But they are trying to deal. They are indeed trying to deal with them so far. So that's good. That's good. Doing some pretty solid damage against the Ellerin Reaver Archers over here. While the Reavers here, Heralds of the Wind, they're all wasting quite a bit of their ammo against, against the Snowhorn of Morn. They need a Plague of Rust here, and they need it soon, I'm afraid. But it seems that they have dropped that onto the Sky Striders instead, lowering their armor, trying to do as much damage as possible against them, even dropping in the Mage of Life to hit them hard. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. A massive Final Transmutation, hitting multiple expensive targets. 2 Crushers, one of them the Sky Striders, hitting the Slaughtermaster as well, and then the Nobblers are basically extra. And yeah, the Sky Strider are getting hit hard, being debuffed by Plague of Rust and drained away by Final Transmutation, down to a quarter of their health. While at the back here, the Crushers plus the Snowhorn of Morn managed to push back the Illyrian Reaver's archers, since a lot of that micro has gone into this left flank here. For the High Elves, a lot of the mobility are pushing forward, and breaking the Sky Strider is a very important breakthrough indeed. But at what cost? Balance of power is still quite even, as the High Elves have suffered extreme losses on the cavalry on the other side. However, the Lead Belchers have been compromised and will not be able to provide any more damage for the High Elf army, since they will be chased off by the High Elf mobility. The second unit of Crushers are now being worked on, as the Archmage of Metal is dropping in, trying to use the Moondragon armor piercing to maximum effect. And now another Plague of Rust here, debuffing their armor, and the balance of power is slowly edging towards the favor of the High Elves, as the Crushers are taking some ridiculous damage that they should not be taking normally, and against units that are not armor piercing at all. Now the back Snowhorn of Morn and the Crushers are still fighting hard, but things are looking quite rough for the Ogre Kingdoms, as they are running out of support units, and the Crushers plus the Crushers and the Snowhorn can still take a lot of, they can still receive a lot of Plague of Rust to lower their armor, buffing up damage of the High Elf army. Now over here, these Crushers are being overwhelmed by cavalry and anti-large troops, down to less than half health, while over here another breath attack went in, doing some nice damage to the Crushers, but possibly quite a bit of friendly fire as well. While Snowhorn of Morn is fighting back to back, shoulder to shoulder with the Slaughtermaster, trying to bunch up as much as possible to prevent being isolated and routed off. Speaking of isolated and routed off, these Crushers are being isolated and ran off. So taking a lot of damage from the pursuit, basically free damage from, as the High Elf army is just poking from behind. Same goes for the Illyrian Reaver archers, just chipping away the health of the Crushers, really. And yeah, the Crushers will be running low on health, and only really the Snowhorn of Morn are left. And then a final transmutation comes in once more, hitting the Snowhorn of Morn, hitting both Crusher units, putting a huge dent in the balance of, oh, maybe not a huge dent, but definitely putting a dent here, as both Crushers have been drained away by the non-overcast version of the spell. Definitely not overcast, because it ended quite soon. Probably would be longer for overcast version. Anyways, Snowhorn of Morn now rushing around using glacial defense, trying to buff up the missile resistance and reduce damage from the missile hits, but unfortunately nobody is shooting him right now, and the armor is not that great when you already have such a high armor to begin with. Now the missiles are shooting, and the Snowhorn of Morn will be simply shrugging everything off, but unfortunately, wait, can they carry this game now, huh? Things are looking close, and yeah, things are looking real close, but the Ogres might still have it, with the Snowhorn of Morn being so healthy. The cycle charging can actually wreck the spears pretty bad. But there's still that one final transmutation left, and everything can just swarm it all at once. So anyways, the Ogres will be rushing off, trying to escort all these routing units off the field, and we'll be fast forwarding a bit here, as Saber's Regnum really trying to get as many advantage as possible in the game, especially chasing the unit for a couple seconds more just to get that Ogre faction ability recharged. But unfortunately, the Crushers are now routed, leaving only the Snowhorn of Morn and the Slaughtermaster in the fight. They're trying to move towards the spears. Yep, especially with the massive impact damage from the Snowhorn of Morn. The charge damage will be just stomping through all these poor spears, doing pretty nice damage. But another final transmutation here, draining the health of the Ogre single entities. A breath attack from the Archmage was attempted on the Snowhorn of Morn, but unfortunately just entirely missed and probably did some friendly fire. Another Trollguts come in and heal up the Snowhorn of Morn. He is not on fire right now, so he'll be receiving full healing. But unfortunately though, after that Trollgut spell cast, the Slaughtermaster has been broken, leaving the Snowhorn of Morn alone in the fight. And I don't think he can survive this fight, as he is indeed debuffed by the Plague of Rust. A regular version, because the Archmage doesn't have much health left and cannot afford an overcast damage. But either way, the Plague of Rust will be lowering the Snowhorn's armor enough to boost the damage from the Illyrian Reaver archers. It's roughly around a 20% damage boost, really, since the calculation is 10 to 20% damage boost. Anyways, I'm not gonna explain the damage calculation here, but basically, I'm too tired for this and for explaining stuff. I can barely cast at this point, but anyways, Snowhorn of Morn being surrounded, dragged down, and they are basically done for. And that shall be the final game of the night, final best of 3 of both two tournaments. Strike Games, this is not live, this is actually a replay, and that shall be the end. Congratulations to Phoenix King here, winning both tournaments. Really asserting dominance in this Friday night fight night. For the army performances, anyways, GG to both Saber's Magnum and Phoenix King here, and we'll be looking at the army performances. In terms of army performances, the Spheres did okay, as they're trading against Ogres. Their anti-large would be useful as long as they're not fighting Nobblers, and they do have enough melee defensive stats to hold their ground against Nobblers and just slowly poke them down. Now for the Illyrian Reaver archers, not that much damage, as they were not able to utilize the Plague of Rust, mostly because the Plague of Rust were dropped onto units that the High Elves are engaging in melee. Silver Helms did some solid damage overall, and Illyrian Reavers did some pretty good damage as well, recovering most of their cost. But those final transmutation, those were some nasty casts there, catching multiple crushes in both casts, and the Lord, and occasionally the Snowhorn of Morn as well. And of course, being on a Moon Dragon, the Mage does have some pretty solid, pretty threatening melee power. And with that, the Mage of Metal, Archmage of Metal, actually carried this game hard, really hard. Now for the armies of Ogre Kingdoms, Crusher still did a solid job despite being so heavily focused down by the High Elf army. The thing is, the Lead Belchers didn't do much here. They are still a good, really solid unit for counter skirmishing, but against 4 skirmishers that just were trying to actively avoid the Lead Belcher fire, they couldn't do much, as they do have rather limited range in terms of artillery. Now for the rest of the army, Nobbler Trappers did okay. Managed to recover half of their value, not that much, so not as good as they can be, while the Slaughtermaster got hit hard in melee combat. And yeah, that's it for today's battles. Our viewers, all of you enjoy it, and thank you very much for everyone for supporting my channel. It is now monetized. Sorry for the ads, but that's unfortunately a necessary thing that's something I do want to set on my video for a long time, and maybe get a few more pennies for prizes for tournaments. But yeah, that should be all for tonight. I'm freaking tired. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out. I'm going to bed.